And here we are. We are back in the motor racing capital of the world. Anti-stall racing is here. Indycar is back. Race 2 is upon us. Here in the Texas Motor Speedway, one of those fantastic classic tracks that has elevations of about 20 to 24 degrees on some of those fantastic turns, which you have to watch out for naturally between turn 2 and 4. 130 laps will be upon us here this evening with about, give or take, 20 or so gladiators in this championship season that's been occurring for us for the second time. I am once again the Biggles, and join me back in the casting box here in the great southern state of Texas will be Will. How are you doing this evening?
Yes, sir. We're over in the States this race of the season. We saw the technicality and the skill of the road course, the Indianapolis road course there just last week. But tonight, Biggles, it's going to be one different race here. Like you said, this is going to be a gladiator type style race here at Texas.
This is a classic, exactly. It kind of reminds me back into that 1993 season when Nigel Mansell had, it was 93, if I believe correctly, or 94, I might get that mistaken, but one of those seasons, obviously, once we wrapped up the Formula One Championship, went straight over into IndyCar, and he was one of those drivers that was fantastic on those road courses, but could not quite nail the ovals as much as what he liked to. Eventually did get around to it, of course, and won his championship in the IndyCar, but the ovals, of course, are a lot different beast than the road courses. So how do you think these gladiators this evening are going to tackle this classic track?
Well, we saw Håkon last week really dominate at the road course, and we also saw the Italian take over there in second and third. Got a little broken up there at that last lap, so I believe it was second and fifth to end things out. But here tonight, Biggles, I just called the next gen race here last night. I'm watching corner number 2, how these drivers are going to take that, because you have to let off going into 1 and 2. And on exit right there with these Indy cars, we know how sensitive these race cars are. If you tap tires just a little bit, tap a wall. There's going to be a lot of skill, a lot of finesse here. We're going to see big passes here, not like we saw at the road course where the passes were calm and calculated. Here at Texas, everything is bigger, and just will the action be here tonight as well.
I was just about to say everything's bigger and better in Texas, and that so certainly will be the racing. I'll tell you what, mate, I had a great, obviously we're barbecuing before the race. We'll be barbecuing after the race. We'll be barbecuing their way up to the top of the qualifying at the moment. Paulo Lopez from Portugal looks pretty damn flying around here, just ahead of their Benito Fablier there, the Frenchman, flooding into the second fastest. And of course, my Australians back again, Liam Kerr and Kevin Stan, at the moment having that time. It's a very short, quick lap time, as you're aware. We're looking in the 24s. And at the moment, a 24.8 is the time to beat.
Yeah, very fast race times already here in the Q session. They get 4 laps to put down a fastest time here. And only running 130 laps here at Texas. This race is going to fly by just as fast as these Indy cars. So really no time to waste here tonight. Really have to make your moves to get up there to the top of the grid, or at least inside the top 5 once the action kicks off, Biggles. But how do you see this race playing out here tonight? You got my take on how this driver is going to tackle Texas. How do you see it playing out?
We didn't have any pace cars, remember, in the road track that we had in Indianapolis, but as you can see at the moment from Andy spinning, we saw that, didn't we, during the practice session earlier, when you guys haven't not seen it just yet. But welcome along and tune in and give us a chat out there. I expect to see, obviously, a pace car for sure. You can't have this many cars go around this oval at these high speeds, wheel to wheel, without something going wrong here.
Oh, definitely not. I believe we're going to see a couple cautions here tonight as we're taking an onboard ride with Håkan, last week's winner there at the Indy Road Course. So what kind of qualifying time he can put forth. Of course, he qualified on the top of the grid last week at the Indy Road Course, went on to win that race. We'll see what he can put forth here tonight. And Biggles, he has the pole right now here at Indy.
Oh, but if you're replaced by Alex.
Just a second ago.
Yeah, keep an eye out for the Italian driver as well, to the 56 car. Can he do anything about it? No, just slots into the P4. Oh, but he does actually. There it is. The Italian, of course, it's multiple laps. The Italian has done it for the old dogs. Remember himself and his teammate last week. Brilliant work together, finishing second and third, I believe. And at the moment, gets his right up there at the top there. Of course, that championship leader is in P3. And Alex Richardson, where did he pull that lap out of? He's currently nowhere in the championship as far as I know. It's only been one race. And Horace, P16, the championship now up the top here. Could be the Oval Mastermind here.
Yeah, watch out for the oval ringer. Like we like to say in the stock car racing, there's always a road course ringer. Watch out here tonight for the Speedway ringer, who's fastest here on the oval tracks. We talked about it off air, Biggles. What's this race going to entail? When basically we just said a lot of left-hand turns. But I think with these Indy cars, you really have to watch out here on the speedways. You get a little mesmerized by the banking corners, the track, but then you see somebody coming up behind you to your side, and that's where it gets very, very tricky. Because with these open wheel race cars, you cannot touch tires, you cannot touch doors like you can in stock cars. You have to make sure you are clean and good to go when you make passes here on the speedways.
And a couple of drivers are actually under investigation for driving when they're supposed to be in the driver's briefing meeting. That's not a good thing. And that will affect, I believe at the moment, that will be the 759. That's Benito, French driver at the moment, currently in P5. Under investigation early. Well, it might hinder something during the race, but you have to turn up to those driver's briefing meetings, my friend, because they talk about safety, they talk about standards. And it's very important, obviously. It's kind of like skipping your first class at school. Not going to happen.
No, Biggles, and even I was in the driver's meeting, and I'm not even driving here tonight. So for some of the drivers that may have missed that meeting, that is a no bueno, as they say in Spain or Mexico here. And going back to those Italian takeover that we saw last week, Biggles, those Italians finished second and fifth. Right there, we were all mesmerized by Håkan there at the end, that we forgot that those Italians got split up there for the podium. It was Benet Favar that finished in third, and then Kevin Stam right there finished in fourth at the Indy Road Course last week. But whole different race here tonight, folks, as these drivers are hitting the speedway. Watching these times already here in the Q session, these drivers get 4 laps.
And look at Zachary just squeezes his way up into that P3 there. What a fantastic drive there, to get just each a little bit ahead of our championship leader. So that's got to get a little smile to his face watching Christopher at the moment. 71 car from a nose can. Sensation of speed you're going to feel around this track. A lot of people have their, pros and cons about oval track saying, okay, you're only turning left 4 times, my apologies, but it's turning left 3 times at the ultimate pace where every tiny little inch of the steering wheel that you move and those tires start to slide on you and all of a sudden you're in that fence very, very quickly. Qualifying is now over.
And there we go. Looks like our grid is set for round number 2 here in the Anti-Stall Racing IndyCar Series. Me and Biggles here on the call live from Texas Motor Speedway. And Biggles, we saw the action there last week at the Indy Road Course, but looks like our grid is ready to rock and roll here tonight at the great state of Texas.
And of course, we pretty much would have to expect we're going to see that Anti-Stall Racing pace car out the first time. And also, guarantee you, we're going to see a car doing burnouts on pit road, aren't we? On the pit road, of course, on Victory Lane, that they call it here in the great state of Texas.
Yeah, and they get the cowboy hat, you get some ribs, you get some good barbecue at the end of this race. So a lot of things to race for here tonight at Texas. But Biggles, that pace car looked so beautiful down pit road last week at the road course. I can't wait to see it in action here tonight. I'm sure we will a few times. A few of these drivers will get to know how it feels to maybe wreck out in a race, because after this, we go back to road course racing after this Speedway race here tonight at Texas. Take a look at the track formation. Biggles broke it down to start this broadcast. We have 20-degree banking in 1 and 2, 25-degree banking in 3 and 4. Watch the exits, though, of corner number 2 and 4. That's where it gets a little tricky. You have to let off and then get back on, right onto the gas there on the exit of the corners. And Biggles, we also spoke about there on the front stretch there is a tri-oval. So it gets a little tricky there to have to whip the car off of 4, off into 1 there. So watch out for that as well here tonight. But Biggles, we're about to drop the green flag here on round number 2. I cannot wait to get the action started.
Rolling start. Barney's going to be all ready. Barney's always ready, isn't he? He's always up there with those multiple flags that he has, of course. And definitely we'll see that pace car leading them around for a rolling start. And once again, I do apologize last week. The bump drafting is not as important as you know on those road courses. I'm so used to the ovals where it definitely is now. You're going to have to go down pit lane and you're going to have to try to time it with other drivers. Otherwise, you get left alone in that dirty air. No air, of course, braking it, and you're in big, big trouble. So let's going to see what's going to happen, obviously, around here. And timing the fuel. We'll see if we can get anything from our producer, of course. Once again, our fantastic producer is Gerald out there, about possibilities of how many pit stops they're going to take. Not if, how many, and if they're going to take fuel, tires, what'll be the situation. Obviously, do that under the pace car if you can. It's all about timing. We're looking at the 52 car that's just come out a little bit late here at the moment. They're discussing with some of the stewards. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, it looks like he's just hanging out on pit road right now, Biggles, before we drop the green flag here. I think he might be talking about, looks like he did get the top of the grid right now. Looks like he ran a 24 flat right there at the top. We'll see what the situation is right now before we drop the green flag at Texas. And we'll get that information about these pit stops and fuel windows for you folks as well before the green flag drops here tonight. And Biggles, I wanted to ask you, tires don't really come into a factor here with these Indy cars, but hitting a Speedway here tonight, do you feel like it's going to be more of a fuel situation or a tire situation here tonight?
I'd say fuel. Usually you see a splash and dash that you have to do because a lot of the car you can run quicker you need, and we're talking once again sub 25-second pit stops. That'd be so tough laps. So that's going to be crucial to maximizing the amount of speed you can have. As Kevin now has disappeared back in the pit lane. There's my RV. Oh, thank you very much for showing that. That's what I've been sleeping in for the last couple of days. So I've been enduring all those practice sessions. Drove it all the way from Panama up here to Texas. Don't ask me how many hours it took, but maybe it's a good old 130 laps or so, give or take, distance. As yeah, Kevin is going to be starting on pole, so a bit of a surprise there. That caught us sleeping in my RV, that's for sure.
It's a beautiful RV, Biggles. I've checked it out. It's a beautiful RV. It looks like the grid is officially set now for the drop of the green flag. And Biggles, you have more experience with these awesome names here tonight. If you want to run us through that starting grid here for the race number 2 of the Anthony Stahl IndyCar Series.
I see you threw it at me, didn't you, Will? Of course, Kevin Burrell will be starting on that pole position. Right next to him will be Dan Hello. Dan, the Old Dogs Racing team. Alex Richardson there. Zach Amar. Well, on your second row, you'll have our championship leader, Hakan Grespud. Paulo Lopez, the Portuguese driver in P6. Along the next row there, Benito Lavier, Kevin Stam. And then the Australian driver, Liam Kerr and Leon Elwood will be running up to 10th place there. Frankie Francachino, sorry, my apologies. Dorino Raccaccini, of course, his names are bringing out there. We'll go there. Sylvia Lazar, Robin Dumel, Benny Frege, and Aiden Young. Aiden Young, the only United States driver, of course, two of them actually, my apologies, on the grid there. Bart Ferguson, Alec Boss, Andy Tartman there, Matteo Lamiara, Kevin Simidad, Christopher Suzuki, and William will round that one out. Yeah, you threw me under the RV of that one, didn't you, Will?
I got Biggles. I thought you had it down, my man, but next time I'll give it a go to see if I can get these names down, because they are some tricky ones indeed. But hey, if you get up inside the top 5 or even lead in this race, we'll make sure to get your names down pat, because the more you race up there, the more we get to know these drivers here in the IndyCar Series. But look at that, Biggles. We have one Italian up at the top right there. We have a good mix of drivers. Favar is down there in the 7th position. Kevin Stam, Liam Kerr down there in the 8th, 10th right there. Håkon's down there as well. It's going to be a crazy start right now. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of slicing and dicing to start things off here tonight. Drivers that are going to try to race their way up to the top of the grid to avoid that pace car coming out here tonight at Texas.
And one thing after we heard the national anthem of the United States of America, of course, that would make definitely Kevin Burrell the very patriotic, of course, because he'll be starting in that pole position. You can see right there. He's also joined by another 4 American drivers, with Aiden Young, and then the other 2 are unfortunately right at the back of the field. But I'm sure all these fans around here, I think about 75,000 of them, are going to want to hear that national anthem again when they step down into victory lane.
Yeah, no doubt indeed. As we were rolling down the backstretch right now into 3 and 4, the pace lights are off of that pace car. Not as beautiful pace car as we had last week, Biggles. I think we had a nice Camaro looking all spiffy down pit road. Tonight's just a regular old looking NASCAR pace car, but nonetheless, the action's not going to be any less of a pace here tonight at Texas, as we're about to go green flag racing here once again in the IndyCar Series.
And here we go. Let's go racing for the second race this season in IndyCar. Welcome along to Texas. And those lights are going to come out any second. And Barney's going to get that flag waving. And it's going to count down. The lights are out. And here we go. Hit the loud pedal as loud as you possibly can. We are underway. Green flag.
Yeah, right now clean so far as they come down into 1 and 2. Down the backstretch right now, everybody's just trying to feel the race car, feel the track out, heading down, drag racing down into 3 and 4. We're almost already done with lap number 1 here, Biggles. The pace is frantic as Denalio has the race lead, crossing that start-finish line down into 1.
Good lead so far, so good. Everybody's generally side by side. You're going to see probably 2 abreast. 3 is a little bit tricky in the Speedway. Getting a lot of gainers and losers currently at the moment. Quite a few, actually, because Frankie Braccacino there, the Spaniard, up to P6 currently at the moment. But, of course, the Italian has taken the lead of this race. But it's one thing to lead, of course, but you got to do it for remaining 130 laps. And once again, he's being challenged on the outside by Alex Richardson. And we're on board right now with the American that started on pole position, watching this from a bird's eye from his car in 5th gear.
And you watch right there, Biggles goes down into 6th. Going to shift down into the corner right now. I love this point of view. We get the driver's point of view right now on the front stretch. It's going to shift up into 6th gear, going down into corner number 1. Going to downshift just a little bit. Going to ride that corner out here, Biggles. And then on the exit of the corner, you see it right there. He's going to shift up right on the exit on the 6th gear. He didn't do it just yet. He's going to ride that. Oh, he shifted late there, Biggles. Might lose some speed with that shift.
Yeah, you'll scrub a little bit of speed, of course, but still early days. You can see a little bit of weaving going on while I still have those traction in the boots. So you don't want to get too close to that wall. It will suck you into it. And unfortunately, it might put a front wing or a whole car upside down into it. So far, so good. And they're just challenging it here. Go ahead.
That may have been a calculated move there from Kevin. He let those RPMs run up in that Indycar. Ride that corner as long as you can before you upshift and lose that power in the engine. You saw that big run he had there by late shifting. Next corner around, he did the opposite there. He downshifted early. And we have a caution, our first caution of the night, first caution of the season, Biggles.
Let's have a replay. This is a little bit further back in the field. There's the German driver of Benny in the arrows. Oh, he's actually avoided the accidents a little bit further up the field there. Looks like about 2 or 3 cars. I want to see if anybody's going to really jump into the pit lane. It could have been Zachary, Amador, and Andy. I think might have been involved in that one. Here it is, it's 3 abreast early. And that's what's panned in the problem here. Actually, it's gone onto the grass there. Somebody went onto the grass, and then unfortunately, absolutely no traction down there, and it's a rebound effect.
And we talked about it, Biggles. That was on the exit of 4. We talked about how on the exit of 4 and 2, watch out for those corners. And it looked like that was starting on the exit of 4. And I just want to attest, Biggles, these are not off-road race cars.
Absolutely not. That was last week. You can list that too. At least the road course was last week. So there's our first caution. Didn't take too long. Well, obviously 7 laps. That's 7 laps of, well, 6 laps of very quick racing. And we'll see. We'll have a couple of drivers in the pit lane at the moment. That'll be Sylvia, Aiden, and Zachary are in the pit lane. So 2 of the Americans are in the pit lane at the moment. Kevin Stam has decided to go in there. Alec Van Boss has also gone down to the pit road. We're getting some fuel at the moment, unless obviously got any of that damage. So a few of those drivers did.
You see right now, Biggles, the Italians have wasted no time pairing back up, as you see Danelio right there in 2nd and Frankie in 3rd. That's basically where they ran all race long at the road course last week. We saw that awesome pit strategy last week of delaying on the exit. 1 went down pit road, 1 waited, and then 1 came out exactly at the same time as his teammate was going by. So you just see the cohesiveness, the teamwork that those 2 have here in the IndyCar series.
That's exactly what you need. Well, they're going to bunch them really slowly at the moment. So not doing in excess of their speeds of about 187 miles per hour that they're doing a little bit earlier. Just wondering at the second if we can get a just quick recap of the restart of that race there, courtesy of Anti-Stall Racing production team. Just have a look at how it's conducted for our first oval race of the season here in the IndyCar.
Look out right there.
Yeah, there we have it. Let's have a look and see what our current pole setup, or he started to drop a couple of places here, because currently at the moment, Kevin Burrell's down into P4 there. So just a little bit of a poor start. Around here somewhere, he drops a little bit, doesn't he? There, he's on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Not telling the risk it too much, because the old dog himself, the Italian driver, gets around to. We also have a penalty for car 14. I'll have to drop to the end. And that'll be the other Italian driver, actually. There it is. Just got so much speed there, Kevin, didn't he? Just lost that place. He ends up losing another place, too, in a lap or so after. Just being cautious, I guess, the 52 car, knowing that there is 130 laps.
And that's exactly what it looks like there, Biggles. It looks like he was trying to be calm with the race car. You never see him upshift there to 6th gear, rode that thing out there. But then again, we take a look at the replay here. It brings out our first caution of the season, Biggles. We've waited so long to see that pace car out on the track. Our first caution of the night here comes on lap number 7. And it was a craziness on the front stretch. A few cars get entangled there. You see it right there. That pastel race car that we all love to see there, with that livery, is now all damaged up and bruised up. But I won't see that race car out here on the track again. That's unfortunate here on lap number 7. But Biggles, it looks like, you know, you called it last week. The Australians really love these Indy cars. We have one lead in the race here so far here tonight in Alex Richardson. How do you feel about that 22? You think you'll be able to hold on to that top spot?
Alex is from the UK.
Ah, out of the UK. Look at that.
There's only one Aussie in this one, my friend. But green flag again. Doesn't matter if the UK. Still have the Union Jack in the corner of the flag in Australia. Alex now gets a fantastic launch there from Danilo Piazza. And there is the Spaniard there off Francescino. And he's Francescino, sorry. He's up 8 places at the moment, but he's on a massive attack from the Portuguese driver just across the border there, Paulo Lopez.
That essentially answers my question. There's a huge restart out of Alex Richardson right there. Now has a battle on his hands to the inside of corner number 1 right now. Now here is going to go to the inside right here on corner number 1. A smooth pass ensuing there on the exit of 2. Heading down the backstretch right now. They're side by side racing in these Indy cars. See a little bit more pace out of Alex as he leads them down into 3.
Do apologize, there's a lot of noise going on as they pass the casting box, so I can barely hear anything at the moment. We might have to just cast this one for a little bit, Will, because you can see this 3-way battle brewing for the lead.
Yeah, we see this battle going on for the lead right now, coming off of corner number 2. Alex Richardson's leading the way here. Big moves behind him, though. They're battling out there. The Italians are trying to get through. We have a yellow on the racetrack, though, our second caution of the night. Take a look now at the replay to see what occurred that brought out our second caution of the night. There's Andy Tatman there in that 25. You see he's all by himself here. See what happens. We're coming off of 3 and 4. See right there off of 4. And you see he's going to scrape the wall and just get sideways there. And we talked about at the start off this broadcast here. Watch the exit of 4 and 2. The difficultness of these corners is when you come off, you're coming off with not so much speed. You're having to let off on the corner, so you're trying to time it just right to get back onto the gas. And you'll see it here tonight with these drivers that are trying to get back up on that speed, try to upshift or downshift, whatever you like there. They're trying to get through that corner as clean as possible, and sometimes that car just skirts from behind you there, and that's what brought out our second caution of the night here on lap 13 of 130 here tonight. We had no cautions last week. We already have 2 here tonight. We can see that this Speedway racing is a little bit tricky for some of these drivers here. But Biggles, I'll bring you back on here for a bit. We saw a 3-way battle ensuing for the lead. We saw teammates battling out for second place there, and that's crazy to see already. Looks like Biggles ran down to the concession stands to grab some of that great Texas barbecue here at Texas Motor Speedway. He'll be back up in the booth in just a minute here. As we were under caution once again, we saw that great restart out of Alex Richardson there on the start of the green flag. But here at Texas Motor Speedway, we haven't seen much change in the leaders so far. Alex Richardson overtook there for the lead, hasn't given it up. See, our pole sitter, though, is far down the grid, down into the 5th position right now, really losing speed as this race is counting down. See those Italians up there as well, Frankie and Danilo. We saw them battling it out for position. But right now we're counting it down here, still under caution here at Texas Motor Speedway, our first oval track of the season here in round number 2. We saw that domination out of Håkan last week. He started on the top of the grid, won the race at the end. Not really up at the top just yet here tonight. Still a long way to go in tonight's proceedings. That pace car still leading him around corner number 4. Pace lights are still on. Going to run one more lap under caution here in the anti-stall racing Indycar series. This, of course, is race number 2. And we'll see right now, and we're counting down to see what's going to be the strategy here tonight in this race. We already saw pit stops ensue. They are very quick here in these Indy cars. We'll get those cars back out here tonight. But we've seen it here tonight, folks. The trickiness of those exit of the corner, especially in these Indy cars. You want to get these things back up to the top speed. We have seen a little bit of a shift in strategy. We've seen some of the drivers ride 5th gear through 1 and 2. Then upshift, or in some instances you let that thing ride in 5th all the way around the corner. You ride those RPMs down the backstretch. You go into corner number 4. You leave it in 5th gear. You come around the corner. So some of these drivers are electing to leave it in the 5th gear as we're heading down the backstretch here. About to go green flag racing once again. You see we're going to take an onboard ride with Frankie Franchita right there in the third position. Excuse me, he is racing out of Spain. I thought he was one of those Italians that took over last week, but Espana is racing right there in that third position. No wonder why they were battling out fourth position. They're not teammates here on the track, so we'll see that battle ensue here once again. Once this pace car pulls off here on corner number 4, we'll see who gets this restart. Looks like we're going to stay under caution for just another lap here, cruising around the track here in the Anti-Stall Racing IndyCar Series. We're on lap 15, going to cross this line. It's going to be lap 16 of 130. We've seen the frantic pace here so far here tonight. These drivers just trying to get to the top of the grid. We've seen battles ensuing, but the longer we can stay green, the more racing and more passing we'll see here tonight. We've already seen Alex Richardson overtake for that lead. We've seen our leaders, or their pole sitter there, slip down into the 5th position. But we'll see if Biggles is ready to rock and roll. He's got that awesome barbecue, those ribs there from the concession stands. Biggles, are you with me yet?
Yep, I do have those beautiful ribs, those kangaroo ribs that I've managed to package and my Vegemite, of course, that I tried to get through customs. They tried to take away from me, but I said, "You do not take away my Vegemite, my friend, especially not when going to the Lone Star State here in Texas, just shy of Dallas."
Biggles, it's funny you mentioned that. My boss at work, she lived in the UK for about 15 years. I had to ask her about it, and the face she made, it almost like she bit into a lemon. She just goes, "Nope, you don't want any of that." I said, "Okay, good to know."
Well, we do know our fantastic producer here at Anti-Stall Racing absolutely loves the Vegemite. I mean, every time I have to bring an extra jar every time we turn up to these tracks just for him to spoon out of course. And let's have a look at Frankie now. If he can resume the lead of this race, as the pace car should peel in right now and get ready for some more green flag racing on. Let's just start lap 17. Once again, they're going to see Barney waving that flag. Just about any second. There's Barney. He's waving, and the cars are now on the loud pedal.
You see right now, it's clean down into corner number 1. We're going to take an onboard ride with one of those Italians here. Tonellia is going to lead us down into corner number 1. But you see that awesome restart out of Richardson right there at the top, pulling away down into corner number 3. Looks like we have some diciness going on behind him, though, there, Biggles, as we go down to 3 and 4.
Yep, there it is. So, well, if you missed all those cautions last week, of course, in Indianapolis, welcome home to Texas, because we have a little bit of action that's occurred. Just back again somewhere as we're watching the French driver that did fantastically finish last week in a good points-paying position with that lovely green livery, sponsored by Thrustmaster. And we'll get that replay up in a second. I think it was Andy Tartman that had a bit of a crash moment, maybe out of your classic turn 4, I'd have to say, Will.
Yeah, at a turn 4, I did a next-gen stock car race here last night. It was turn 2 that gave all the drivers fits. But here tonight, it looks like turn 4 is the tricky corner here. And because I spoke about it while you were off air for just a little bit there, what causes that is these drivers have to let off going into the corners. Now, with these Indy cars, I mean let off, you're going down from about 200 miles an hour to about 180, 190, so still going super fast around the corner. But when you have to exit the corner, you're trying to get back onto the gas as fast as possible, get that car revving on the front stretch and the back stretch, especially coming off of 2. And what happens sometimes there, Biggles, you feel that back end slip. If you get on the gas too fast, that torque, that downforce is going to make that car spin from behind you. We're seeing it already here tonight.
You mentioned it, exactly. Cold tires, hit the loud pedal, not getting up to the temperature, of course, or the speed. Still waiting to see if we get that replay, what happened to Andy, who has actually tucked into the pit lane as well. So no doubt he might have got some damage there. That's the 25 car. Some penalties, of course, and here he is. That's exactly, I think we're catching right at the end of it, isn't it? Just right on cue with what you mentioned there. Andy's giving you a bit of a dress rehearsal of what happens when you do that exact thing. The cold tires and a massive acceleration.
Yeah, and we've seen Andy Tatman there struggle here tonight. It wasn't what we saw at the Indy Road Course last week. Really ran a great race there. Of course, it was dominated by Hulk on there that came all the way with the race victory. But here tonight, this is definitely a different beast at Texas Motor Speedway. Probably not Andy's favorite track, if I had to guess. I'm sure some of these drivers are getting ready to go back to road course racing at the end of this race. But what a big win it would be to win at a track like this, Biggles, a track that you can basically let these things go wide out and go up to 6th and 5th gear all the way through the race.
Yeah, so the other American drivers as well, too, of Andy Tatman. So we just mentioned, but Zach Amador, he's currently running in 20th place there, the number 73 car. And of course, Hayden Young, who generally performs quite well in the 427 car, also from the United States, running plump last at the moment. Obviously gets a chance to catch up to the pack there. Loving these LED lights that are on the side of the tractor to let us know that they're caution as they slide on by. That's brilliant. I'd actually love to see Formula One implement something like that. And Singapore would be the perfect place to do it this weekend. But they're not going to copy Indycar, so they've done it first here in Texas.
Yeah, see, we're still under caution here, Biggles. And we talked about it there as the caution flag flew. No cautions last week at the Indy road course, but plenty of cautions here tonight. And that's something I spoke about when we started this broadcast off here tonight, is the amount of cautions, the amount of chaos I think we're going to see here as this race ensues. We haven't even hit the halfway mark here tonight, Biggles, and these drivers are already fighting this course.
Yeah, mate, we're gonna have to get that race finished at some point. Otherwise, that barbecue's gonna get cold. I think we can't get down there and put some more coals into that barbecue. Of course, we have to do barbecue with the coals the old-fashioned way. We're not going to use no gas here. We've all used up all our gas, of course, for the cars themselves down in pit road. As Andy in the chat there said, that's had a bit of a bumping and grinding twice with some drivers, and doesn't seem to be a happy camper at the moment in pit lane there with some repairs, but hopefully you can get back out onto the track. If you can, Andy, and still continue, mate, because there's still 110 laps to go. And if you're a few laps down, as you know, anything can happen of those cautions.
Yeah, and there's still a long way to go. And as frustrated Andy is there, I'm sure a lot of the other drivers are going to start to feel the same as these laps start to tick down here, which could give Andy that opportunity to maybe move up the grid, still get a decent finish out of tonight's race. Still a long way to go in this season, so if you can keep that car out there, you can keep it going around the track, maybe even squeeze out some points here tonight, Biggles. You know, it can really carry through the rest of the season.
Points are crucial this early into a championship. Absolutely. I wonder if at some point we can get maybe a overlay or something that's going to show us the schedule this season. Otherwise, we can get a verbal for you out there of where we're heading to. Obviously, been to Indianapolis road course. We will go to Indianapolis Oval because you have to do the Indy 500. That's the classic one. There's no IndyCar without Indy 500.
Oh, it's the
Frenchman
best
at the
race
moment
of the
there.
year there, Biggles.
Absolutely. That's, well, I'll be taking my RV up there, mate, a little bit later on. And the barbecue's still fired up. I have a barbecue in my RV as well. I pull it out. Let's have a look at some of those liveries, of course, that we love out there. Alex leading this race there, the No Limits sim racing team there, the 22 from, not Australia, my friend, from the United Kingdom. It's, just going to pick on you on that one. And right behind him, of course, is the old dog racing there. Of Danilo Piazza. Dan. He's got two Dans in his name, actually. Dan first name, Dan last name. I think a crash at the moment on the caution. What's happened here? Matteo. Somebody gone a little bit too very slow or a little bit too fast. Let's find out. Anyway, they've continued to green flag. So whatever that crash was, doesn't matter at the moment. Here we go. Racing again in Texas.
And another excellent restart out of Alex Richardson there, racing out of the UK there. Got it right this
another
time
caution.
There, Biggles. And another caution
I think
on
my
the
Australian driver's gone around here at the moment as we did get a restart. What's happened to the Aussie? The Auto Moves Racing, mate, unfortunately might have not moved in the right direction. There's still a wiggle in the back of the car there, but he still held it. What has happened? Oh, no, there it is. That wiggle's turned into a fence tap. There it is for
corner
the Aussie.
number 2 there, Biggles. He got the wiggles out of corner number 2. He already was trying to control that race car there on the apex of 1 and 2. Tried to get on the gas on the exit, but that car was already slipping and sliding underneath him.
Yeah, Will, come on, mate. You got to get back into that pit lane. And I think he's actually, if he's got enough damage or not, that's interesting if he will jump into pit road for the Australian driver. Remember, my friend, Liam? It was only just a couple of weeks ago that Will Power wrapped up the IndyCar Championship for Australia, so you have to do it as well for anti-store racing. And at the moment, it's not quite panning out for you, but it's still, once again, I keep saying, plenty of time to go Is anybody going to jump down into pit lane? That's going to be the interesting thing, because once again, you got to follow each other. There'll be a couple of drivers you see peeling down there right at the moment, and there will be a few of them actually. So there it is. The Italian driver jumps in. The French driver Matteo jumps in. Christopher jumps in there. The number 71 car. So yep, that's the gamble down there in pit road. I wonder if we have our pit lane reporter of Gerald there to give us any feedback.
Yeah, right. So pit stops in this particular race, and I believe in all oval races that we're going to be doing here at Antistall, you're allowed three tyre changes. So you've got 3 sets of tyres for the entire race, just to increase the strategy a little bit, because the tyres do become an issue halfway through these races.
Thank you very much. Andy, unfortunately, just to notice in the chat, is out. So, Andy, well, mate, at least you get down and fire up that barbecue for us, right? Keep those coals going. Keep the barbecue nice and warm. And you're welcome to have a snack before the other drivers are at this point. So we're watching the Portuguese driver there as of Paulo that we mentioned, Paulo Lopez, that we mentioned last week, that had that fantastic Portuguese livery created there by the team at Anti-Stall Racing. And he's obviously, in honor of that, he's putting the Anti-Stall Racing slapped on the side of it in his Honda-powered 88 car. Alex Richardson still leading this race after we've only had probably approximately, 16 or so laps on the green flag, Will?
Yeah, we've tried to run under green there, Biggles, and we stayed under green for a good amount of time there to start this race off, but it seems like as the race kind of ticks down, a lot of these drivers are getting a little bit more antsy. They want to make more passes. They want to work their way up through the grid. You're starting to see those problems occur there on the exit of these corners, especially off of 4. We've already had a couple instances off of 4, and right there, Liam coming off of 2 was already loose, and with these race cars, how fast you have to get back up on the gas and how fast these cars are. There, Biggles coming off of 2. He tried to save that thing, get on the gas. He had somebody to his right side, but once he did, that car was already way too loose coming off the corner. And in my opinion, Biggles, I probably would have led off coming off the corner, maybe lost that position, and then made sure to save my race car going down the backstretch.
You know, easier said than done. Now, car 56 has been given a penalty there. That's Danileo Piazza. That's the Italian driver for the Old Dog Racing. Number 56 has been giving a drop to the end penalty. Currently, he is down in P15, and he'll have to drop all the way down to the back. And he won't be, like Liam, throwing any shrimp on the barbie. Thank you very much for that information up there, Andy. He's going to be throwing some shrimp on the barbie. But for the record, Andy, he did say his spin caused that one of the cautions I was going to say there, and damaged a lot of that rear end of the car. Well, hopefully you guys will get it fixed and ready for the next race. We'll have a bit of time. You can sit there and definitely enjoy some shrimp on the barbie, mate, and watch the rest of this race, because we're only on lap 25 of 130 at the moment. Alex still leading from Francachino. I'll get that right at some point for the Spaniard.
Franchicha.
Yeah. We have a season to get the names right, Will.
We do, Biggles. We'll get it down. I'll get the countries down. You get the names down. We'll be all right.
Here we go. Perfect Bart's peeled into the pit lane from the Netherlands. Is the only one going to the pit road. So it'll be an interesting strategy under the caution card, which is fine, of course. That's when you do go down the pit road and get that done. What I do love, of course, in IndyCar is just the one guy per wheel, obviously, for the pit stops. One pit crew per each wheel, and then they have to obviously remove the tire, slap the new one back on, and screw it back in. And then they throw that wheel gun, just throw it straight into the fence at full speed. I think I mentioned that last week, how many of those that they would go through each race. Those poor wheel guns.
Oh, yeah, you talked about there, Biggles. You know, I'm curious to see, because I know in stock car racing, they put the pit crews through training. I wonder if there's a training session to actually throw the guns. Do they put those guys through how far to throw them, how hard to throw them? I wonder if there's actually a training session for that.
Yeah, and if your boss doesn't give you a raise, I'm wondering if you can throw a little bit extra there and hit the team principal. Oops, sorry, my bad. I wasn't aiming for you, no doubt. How about that pay rise?
You just have a bunch of guys throwing the guns there in the training session.
We're going to have ready to go green again, so Alex is going to see Barney before everybody else in a minute. Poor Barney, once again, doesn't he really earn his paycheck waving those flags around all the time? Hopefully he wants to wave a green one right now, and he certainly will.
go as we're green flag racing once again. Alex Richardson is going to take us down into corner number 1 right now. Another awesome restart out of him as he comes off of 2, still our race leader right now. We have a battle already behind him though, coming down onto, oh, that was close, Biggles.
Absolutely. This is the Italian on the inside here, right up in the apron, going the pit lane, no doubt. Speaking of the other one, there's his old dog racing partner. You saw that kerfuffling behind, and we have a caution already. There's a spin.
Whoa!
That's caused from before, so there's another caution. Absolutely fantastic save. Somebody has to clip that as one of those highlights. But what was the action up the road there? I think that was Robin. Yeah. And that's the French driver. What's happened here? Well, we saw this, but he must have made an accident here. As they went 3, there's the contact, yeah. Well, I'm surprised that contact didn't occur a little bit earlier.
Oof.
Almost took out one of the old dog racing team as he was trying into the pit lane as well.
And Biggles, you know, that's another key concept that I mentioned here tonight. You know, at the road course, you really have time to calculate your moves. You really have time to kind of pace out. We saw those push to passes being implemented last week at the Indy road course. Here at the Speedway racing, you really have to go side by side on the corners to make passes on the straightaways, but you only have a split second to do so. And once you commit to that pass, you know, you get very, very close to the guy next to you. All it takes is just the slightest tire touch, and you're going sideways.
Yeah, and 3 abreast as you saw there. That's why we were all going, ooh, closing our eyes actually and taking a deep breath, because that's a little eager, I'd say, when the temperatures still aren't up there when you're resuming under a green flag. And that's the result of that. Just a little bit day late, dollar short. Yeah.
Alrighty, well, here on lap 29, we've seen the cautions rain down here at Texas Motor Speedway. We're going to step aside for just a short break. We'll be right back with live action out of the anti-stall Indycar Series race number 2 in just a short while.
Welcome back to the Texas Speedway here for Anti-Stall Racing, race 2 of the IndyCar Series. Proudly, of course, very much sponsored by Majors Garage for your setup shop, Digital Motorsports for your sim racing gear, as well as Abrosi for the race wear and gear, because you have to wear those racing overalls because of these cautions that are occurring here this evening, Will. You're going to need a few of them overalls. Safety first.
Yeah, and you're also going to need those racing gloves there on your iRacing sims, because this race is getting hot and heavy already with these caution flags raining down.
And speaking of our racing, we'll just have to check at the moment about what our schedule may very well be for more of the racing this season here. For the very first season of Indycar series at Untitled Racing, we've swapped out those Formula 1 cars for Indycar, and I'll tell you what, it certainly has been action-packed all race long. No caution cars last week in Indianapolis, and just a few caution cars this week here in Texas.
Just a few there, Biggles, but next week we head to Long Beach. We go to Belle Isle after that. They're on 10/10/22. What a date that is for some racing. And then we head back to Indianapolis Motor Speedway there for the oval, essentially the Indy 500 there, and a little bit more oval racing. We head to Barber Motorsports Park, and then another speedway there at Iowa there at the end of the month, actually on Halloween there, Biggles, here in America.
Ooh.
So. And then we go to Watkins Glen. And we're back green once again.
Yeah, we go. So the red lights have been replaced by the green once again, and the green machine there of Alex Richardson as he now resumes the lead of the race once again. And the 22 car, good launch, braking the air, braking the toe, and also trying to warm those tires up. Let's see if we can get a couple of clean laps. And look at the further back in the field there. We have a little bit of exchange going on between the old dog racing further up the field there. We have also the other orange car teammates around the outside of the green. That's Kevin Stam, of course, there from the Netherlands, and they're looking like they're going to think about 3 abreast there, but we don't. That does not pan out just yet, boys and girls. Medical center is waiting for you. You don't want to be there. Look at the side-by-side action here. Keeps it out of the fence, as well as his teammate just behind him as he's under massive attack. And I think that's Danilo. Oh, that's Robin. Robin, of course, number 5 for the Darakan Racing team.
You right there see off of 4, and you see a huge checkup in front of Robin right there. Robin had to check up as well to avoid that car checking up off of 4. Take a look right now here at this. Oh man, already crazy on the backstretch there, Biggles. It's something about those corners, coming off those corners here on these race cars. We're giving these drivers fits here tonight, but we are green flag racing here, Biggles. I'm fingers crossed here we stay green for a little while so we see more of the action here on the track.
Absolutely. Look at Kevin tucked up at the moment at the back of the gearbox. That's the 61 car, Kevin Stam. That's our championship leader. He's actually going on the inside with right now. Oh, there's a little bit of a twirly-whirly coming out of that one. That's actually our championship leader, Harkin. Gresped, he really managed to save that one. Absolutely amazing.
Really trying.
The Dutch driver currently at the moment, Kevin Stam, on the firehouse. Just setting the fastest lap, blisteringly quick. Trying to make his way up, obviously behind his teammate in the same livery there. That's just up the road there, Benny Ferge, the German driver. Of course, they're all racing as individuals here. There are certain teams, of course, but you don't get team points in this championship. You only get individual points. You can see Danilo putting the pressure right on the back there of our championship leader, who you saw at the moment just make a little bit of a mistake there for the Norwegian driver. And Liam now is making his way back up because the Aussie spirit. They fight. The honey badger's within Liam. He certainly never gives up. And here's Kevin once again, seeing the fastest lap after fastest lap on a powerhouse. And he's got the other Kevin Burrow at the moment right up the road. Man that started on pole position. He's also got Benny behind him. So let's see it's going to pan out at the moment, Will. Lap 38.
Yeah, see right now coming off of 2 right now. They're back single file right now on these Indy cars going down into 3. You're seeing different moves out of some of these drivers right now, Biggle. Some of the drivers are going top side, high side here on these corners down to the low side. Seeing it right here. A mix of strategy coming off of the corners, but it might be a pass for the lead or a for position there on the front stretch. Bart's trying to get around right there in that 21 machine. This is a battle for 13th here, I believe, right now on the 13th position right here on the track.
And another caution just as we said that, so we've got a couple of laps there. Let's have a look. Robin has lost his front wheel completely, and we'll have to go back and see what happened, unfortunately, for the Darakan Racing team. Not having a great day for the Frenchman, as he can't even get it almost in the pit road. Maybe he can get there, and now you can see just bodywork hanging off that car. Flat tires, steering angle, and another one from Danilo. Oh, there it is. And there's both of those. So he's got a puncher here. So that must have been contact between the 2 cars there. That's the 14 car.
We'll have to rewind that just a bit.
You can just see the vibrations in the steering. It's very difficult. He has to return for a tow back to pit road on that one. Looks just too difficult to drive. We'll go back and have a look at the replay of that one. There's obviously Bart, number 14. Bart looks okay, that 21 car. So this is it. This is after obviously he's got a massive punch on the left-hand side. So it indicates to me, Will, that it's either contact before that or inside. Hit the barrier on the inside.
Oh. And you're already seeing on the top side of your screen there, Biggles, you're already seeing contact coming off of 4 between the 2 other cars that were involved in this caution. As Robin's going down pit road with that broken wheel, you're already starting to see contact as he's heading down pit road between those 2 other cars that were tangled up in this as well. So maybe got indication that there was a caution on the course. We checked up a little bit and got entangled as well. But Biggles, that was a great green flag run there. I believe we ran about 5 or 6 laps there under green until the yellow flag came out once again.
Almost the most amount of laps that we've done on the green, like at the start of the race. It'll put a couple more drivers down the pit road at the moment. So Robin's gone in there, De Niro's gone in there, Matteo's gone in there to fix those tires, of course. Maybe fix that front suspension. And they got a few tires banged up on that one. Those Firestones are taking a punishment here in Texas this evening. Once again, the barbecue is available, guys. You don't want to be sneaking those shrimps out of the barbecue just yet. Remember, you can wait later. We're going to throw on the best meat in town in Texas, but only for those drivers that finish the race. That's what's going to be available on end-of-line penalty for the car 43, which car 43 driver will be Matteo, French driver. He's in the pit lane anyway, so I don't think that will punish him too much at this point under another caution on lap 41.
And one thing I want to mention, though, although we've seen a bunch of cautions fall here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway, I'm impressed by the restarts out of Alex Richardson there. You know, it takes a lot there to start off on the top of the grid here to get these restarts, to time them just right. And not only does Alex do that here on these restarts, he checks out there, Biggles. The second place car is nowhere to be seen on these restarts. He really gets a good jump. He clears off of 1 and 2 down that backstretch, and he's just easing around the corners once he does that. And although Paulo is pretty fast there in the second position right there, up a bunch of spots since the start of this race, about 4 spots right now, you know, it's really difficult to catch Alex on these restarts. So the longer we go green, it gives the rest of the field an opportunity to catch Alex. But the longer we have these caution flags that rain down, and you mentioned it, Biggles, this is going to be a race of endurance. It's going to be a gladiator style race here tonight at Texas. If Alex can keep this pace up at the top of the grid, it's going to be hard to catch him here at the end.
And on top of it, it's saving them more and more opportunities of having to go visit pit lane. As you can see at the moment, those times in the pit road there currently at the moment, and you can see these drivers, just so you can speak of Alex, haven't had to go down there and visit yet because it's been so much caution racing. They've had to save the fuel. They can save the tires, and they haven't had that you know, real wheel-to-wheel racing where you're going to burn all that energy off and scrub those tires. Once again, as you mentioned, Paulo Lopez is doing a fantastic job making his way back up into second place. Then both to Kevin Burrell that started on pole. He's still in it, of course, and doing a fantastic job at home here in the United States, and he wants to win, of course, and hear the national anthem of the US, and he's currently side by side with Paulo, and Kevin Stam, of course, from the Netherlands, has done a great job. But Benny, our German driver, Benny Verge, in the number 4 cars, gained 10 places and doing a solid job. Just slowly, Toto Wolffing boxing his way, isn't he? Back up into the field there quietly, which is all you need to do. Because you can easily win from any of the top 10 places in IndyCar in the last 10 laps. That's proven for a fact. That's the great thing about oval tracks, isn't it? It's the opportunities to win. You can do it. Whereas as a road track, well, it's a lot harder to overtake on a road course than it is on the oval.
Yeah, trying to give Germany a win here tonight. Although Germany lost last week in the UEFA European Championships, tonight trying to get a win for Germany, and they're playing England today.
Oh, Germany and England, that's got to be one of the classic matches. Well, sorry, Benny, well, you're the only one on the grid at the moment representing Germany. I go for the German football team as well. So sorry for all the British out there. Obviously a straight first, but yeah, when it comes to football, I like the German football team. Sorry, I know England, mate, you used to win it back in '66 in the World Cup, but don't quite have it anymore. Although they did a fantastic run in the World Cup last time, probably the best you've seen the English team doing in a long, long time. Can they repeat that? And of course, don't you count out the United States of America. Their football team has been producing great results recently. So this is now turned into a football podcast, courtesy of Andy Store Racing. Anybody else want to shout out in the chat there? Anyway, how about we go green flag racing first?
There we go, Big Let's get this thing on and popping here once again from Texas Motor Speedway as Alex Richardson's going to lead us down into corner number 1 already with that awesome restart. We see teammates battling out for that position right behind him. They have a huge run coming off of 2. You see this move taking place down the backstretch there, Big This is an overtake right now. And Kevin's trying to get back up to where he started up there at the top of the grid. We're side by racing out of 4.
The 2 Kevins are at it, of course. That's the United States Kevin on the shoulder. Sorry, up in the defense there, and that's Kevin Sam. He was flying before. He had the fastest lap. He's got his teammate now just behind there. That was the German driver just talked about of Benny. And then Beno is just lurking in the background. Great action here on lap 45 as it's brewing up to be a fantastic race. Hopefully more and more green. Look at this. We're on board right now with Benny, the German driver, and you can see his teammate up the road there, but he can't know where to go here. If you're going to try it around the outside, that's bold and brave. You're going to scrub off some speed because now we have another caution.
We're under caution here once again from Texas Motor Speedway. We had action ensuing on the track, but once again, we are paused there for a caution on the track. And we're seeing here tonight, Biggles, right there on the corner. This is 1 and 2. Or actually 3 and 4, excuse me, right there on the entry of 3. We saw right there Christopher had some issues on the entry of 3, and then on 4 tried to overcorrect, get back on the gas, and we've already talked about what happens when you do that on the exit of 4. You go ice skating around the corner.
Captain Morgan needs to lay off the rum there for his sponsorship, of course. Has walked the too many planks, you would have to say. You know, those puns are coming. Thinking that's probably my first pun this evening, so I'm getting a little bit rusty. Must be there's plenty of cautions probably still to go. Is that pace car at the moment? Did anybody check to see how much gas is in it? I need it. Alex has come out of pit lane. No, he's slowing at the moment. He should still be in the net lead of this race. So it's just teasing the Portuguese driver there, Apollo. And there's the pace car might very well run out of fuel. Hopefully not. Going into the beds, Alex going in. I figured they're going to jump in. So was he doing that deliberately to try to tease the other drivers to see if he's, dummy the pit road? Because you got to go in. Well, you don't have to go necessarily in together at this point under caution, but they've gone in. Kevin has gone in too. So the pole sitter of Kevin Burrell, the local hero from the United States, is going to follow him into pit road right now.
You see right now we're pitting on lap 47, 48 there, Biggles. So it looks like, we count it down. It's going to be close there at the end. The drivers might have enough. We stay under caution like we've been going here so far. We'll definitely make it to the end. But if we stay green for just a little bit longer, we might make it.
It was a super pit stop. I was mentioned like that. He was in and out pretty quickly. So that's a splash and dash for sure. But will that once again be enough? Now, judging by the pace of the safety cars that we've had, the pace cars all the time, probably. But if we do get some good, serious green flag racing, then may not be enough. You guys let us know, please, right now in the chat there. Yep.
Is Kevin Burrell is now lost 12 spots with that pit stop there, Biggles. We just saw him battling up there for a podium. He's now dropped all the way outside of the top 10 with that pit stop.
There's an 8-second pit stop, I believe, in the pit lane. Stop 8 seconds. Did he overshoot his pit mark? You know how difficult it is for the pit crew. You don't have as many of them as you have in Formula One, so if you do, overall pit lane time is showing up in the moment, which is about, give or take, I think what we're looking at, 36. Well, that's Alex got about a 36-second pit stop, but Heavens, 38 seconds. So a couple of seconds slower as we're getting race control saying, we don't want as many pace cars, the caution period, so we'll be shortened a little bit now. So there it is. So, yep, I guess we're only going to get about 2 laps now. Before Barney will start waving the couple laps before Barney starts waving that green flag again. Once again, Barney's arm's getting sore at the moment.
Hardest working person at Texas Motor Speedway here tonight.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
I said he's the hardest working person at the Speedway here tonight.
Yeah, well, and the pace car driver as well, no doubt. Both of them deserve a barbecue a little later after this race, for sure. Hey, we're working too, mate, because we got to keep talking about stuff. Whilst less about the racing, unfortunately, but we'll talk about Indycar racing once again. in a minute. Well, we'll pull up the calendar in a second, but because we're going to be going green flag racing again, of course, we can also talk about all the other fantastic racing series that was even mentioned in the chat earlier too. That whether or not I can cast for, unfortunately, I can't. But trust me, there's plenty of great casters here at Any Store Racing. They'll be able to fill the void. Well as yourself, if we're looking on the rear end of the 88 car. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, before we go green here, how frustrating is this stop and go pace to Kevin Stom? We saw him have the fastest lap time here so far here tonight, and every time he starts to go up towards the lead, it just gets killed. But here we go. We're going to go green once again here, Biggles. And round number 2 of the IndyCar series. We'll see this restart right now, and it's a rocket restart at Apollo Lopez. He's going to lead us down into corner number 1.
He's going to, but he's got the big problem behind him. It's called an orange flying Dutchman, who's been super rapid around this track, and you can look at him really mean already. But Paulo Lopez and Kevin Stam have had a lot of history in the racing years at Any Store Racing, so they're very much aware of each other on track. But at the moment, Kevin has been proven that whatever in this machine is quick. The 61 machine is firing on all cylinders. And look at this massive attack already that he's got up the inside, but he's got that brake a little bit heavier, of course, in that kink, that's a 24-degree bend there, and survived the turn 4. Which he certainly does. In the lead of this race is the Dutchman.
Stay clean off of 2 right there, Kevin, as Kevin's going to hold on to that lead, head down into 3 and 4 right now. And Biggles, I could not believe that cockpit point of view. He's got that thing in 6th gear, riding all the way around Texas Motor Speedway here tonight. Still our race leader down into 1.
And so his teammate as well down the road of Benny. Because Benny's on the outside there, Paulo Lopez, as well as it may very well be the French driver there, Benito, if I'm mistaken. So there is Benny punching his way into P2 there behind his teammate of Kevin. They're working together. Paulo Lopez dropping back a little bit. But the French driver there in the 759 car has set the fastest lap just then. He's putting pressure on right down the outside. Good racing, as we're seeing for the green flag. And Paulo Lopez is going to cover this one off in a moment. Whether a little bit of exchange further in the background, it looks like to be 3 abreast. But keep an eye on this battle, of course. And there's another caution.
And we're under caution once again here at Texas Motor Speedway. Take a look at what brought out our caution here tonight. It looks like may have happened behind these leaders here.
I think it might have been behind. We'll see in a second, because we saw about 3 cars attempting that one. And so far, we haven't really seen 3 cars go abreast at this point. Yeah, no, that's actually just a solo mistake there for, unfortunately, my Australian driver. And that's pretty much a similar spot to where he was signing his autograph earlier. But that's not a great deal of damage. It's probably already nursing some damage.
And if we could replay that once again, maybe we could get an onboard ride with Liam there, just to give the folks at home that are watching.
Yeah.
You see coming off of 2, again, it's corner number 2, and you'll see here, watch coming off of 2, he's going to try to get on the gas, and there, it's already going sideways on the exit.
Almost kept it out of the fence in that one when he overcorrected it, which is quite amazing. I don't expect anything less from Liam and the Auto Moves Racing team, but yeah, you're right, isn't it? Just that snap of just too much gas, and then we're going to have a whole bunch of traffic down the pit road again, pit lane there. So we're going to have Benny in. We're going to have Benit in as well. And Kevin, Liam's going in there probably maybe to fix some damage. Not quite sure how much he got on that car.
And I think what makes it so difficult, Biggles, as we're watching here under caution here once again, is, off of 2, you have a 20-degree banking, so you get comfortable with that exit of the corner. You know how to ride that car out. And then on 3 and 4, that banking goes up 5 degrees. So coming off of 3 and 4, it's a whole different aspect of when to get back on, when to let off here in these Indy cars. And some of these drivers are letting it go wide out and then trying to get back on the gas here on the backstretch and front stretch. We saw it there out of Liam, though, coming off of 2. He tried to get back on the gas, but once you do, with the amount of torque and downforce these cars have, you start to get on the gas, and just a little bit of slight leaning, you can feel that car leaning one way or the other. You try to overcorrect, and you're already sideways before you know it.
Last example we spoke about before. And if we get, you can see the banking elevation here as we go into 3 and 4. If you have a look, if we go on board with Kevin for a second, even though we're going to do it at slow speed, but if you go on board 61 car that's leading this race, as he's trying to outpace the pace car, that is this is a little kink here. This is the tough one. You kind of mentioned, like, it does catch you off. You got almost 2 corners, really, at the end of the day, isn't it? In this turn 4.
Mm-hmm.
Because and we just had information there from down in pit lane that he has put that car into engine mode 8. And if you're aware of that one, if anybody is aware of that one out there, is the fact that you're in fuel saving mode. So trying to fuel save his way to the end of the race. What do you think about that one, Will?
I mean, it is a good way to make sure you're good for the end. We saw Kevin laying down these hot lap times here throughout. But because my question to you, though, is has he used up too much of that race car here too early? Have to head down pit road here towards the end of this race. We stay under caution. You know, you're not using your fuel for a good sense. Maybe you can shut the car off, let it coast around here under caution. But once we go green flag racing, you're going to have to use a lot of fuel to hold on to the top of the grid there. And with these drivers that are coming up to him quick, fast, in a hurry, including Paulo Lopez, who's been up there throughout the race inside the top 3. You have Frankie down there as well. Denalio is right there as well. They're really battling it out to try to get that position away from him. My question to you, Biggles, is, you know, do you head down pit road early, get that out of the way, make sure you're good for the end of the race, or you try to hold on to this top spot as long as you can?
He might have burnt just a little bit too much gasoline, because now we're going to get green flag racing again. But that's the thing too. Paulo Lopez has not visited pit lane yet, so that may be very much the reason why he was happy to yield those places before, and made it look very easy for those overtakes, and has Kevin bend a little bit too much. Green flag racing once again here in the Texas Speedway.
You see right there, Kevin's going to lead us down into corner number 1. Our race leader here so far has been laying down hot lap after hot lap here. Under green, we're coming off of corner number 2 here. Still the race leader. Take a look here at Boss. He's still right there in the 7th position. See, right now we have a battle already for the lead off of 4, Biggles.
Yeah, this is Paulo Lopez. I'm not sure if he's going to really put up too much of that. He's probably happy to tuck in behind Kevin Stam. Frankie's now and just behind them, and the Spaniard you can see right up there. And the inside of Frankie, of course, is the Italian driver of Danelio. So they're going for the 2 finale. That's your top 4 currently at the moment, and then the rest of the drivers a little bit down the road into an all-important turn 4 right now, where you do see some of those mistakes. Hopefully we get another green flag race. We're on 59 laps now of 130. Average laps about 25 seconds. Hello everybody out in the chat there as well. Steve Elwood said awesome stuff, guys. It is for some of the drivers at the moment, not so much for some of the others. That's our championship leader at the moment, the 94 car, in a bit of a wars there and running at P6. Hucken.
Hucken's trying to get it up there. He won the race last week, started at the top of the grid, qualified the fastest, had the fastest practice time, and then the fastest car at the end, trying to work his way up the grid here tonight. Right now, our points leader heading into this oval track here at the Indycar Series, heading on the backstretch right now. Kevin Stam's still our race leader, but this is a battle right now going on. Right now on 3 and 4, Biggles, they're battling it out here under green.
And Frankie says, relax. Everybody behind him to Kevin. To the Italian driver who's bringing it on Kevin now. Has Kevin in the fuel-saving mode, saving the fuel at the moment, because he's under massive pressure. Remember, he was just leading this race under the recent caution. At the moment, he's on a massive attack as well. Paulo Lopez, I mentioned, is still going to have to go into pit road at some point because he hasn't even visited there yet. So he's probably running on vapors right now, running on some of those barbecue fumes, I guess, that we're going to be cooking trackside here at Texas.
But you see Paulo has dropped down into the 4th position right now. We just saw Paulo up there battling it out for the lead. Has now slipped a little bit on the grid. It looks like we have a message at the top of the screen there. Biggles, it looks like Race Control has sent out a message to the track.
That's Kevin at the moment. That's the French Kevin down 63 number car running in P12 at the moment. Has to do a drive-through, which is at this point when everybody's so bunched up together on some good green flag racing, it's going to cost him a lap or so down. But look at this racing still occurring at the moment, my friend. And all the usual suspects are right here. Kevin, Paulo, Frankie, Alex is back in this one too. Just caught this party behind him. Remember, he was leading this race in the 22 car, and this is going to get the 3 abreast time because now your tires are cooking in the heat of Texas.
Oh my goodness, Biggles, we're about to go 3 wide there for just a little bit, a little NASCAR racing there, if you will, here in the IndyCar series, heading down into corner number 1. Our leader still right now is Kevin Stom. Right now,
we go on board with Kevin for a second. I want to see it from the Dutch driver's perspective there, the 61 car. You can see, look at this. Up the road, this is where the potential also got somebody coming out of pit road, has to stay on that inside apron. You don't want to be a part of this party right now. Look at this. Is that a dummy? That's really, really early to stick on the apron there. That's going to scrap a bit of speed off. But that, of course, is Frankie. That's the green car. Sorry, Frankie's
just lead changes at a frantic pace right now, Biggles. This is crazy. This is what we love to see here under green. This action-packed racing here in this IndyCar series.
Yeah, there's a lap car in there, actually, at the moment, because Kevin's standing where we're currently on the board is in P3, and you can see there's 3 cars ahead of him. Well, he's knowing where Frankie's there.
Ooh.
And the Italian driver is leading this race on the inside for the Old Dog Racing. So that green car at the moment is a car unlapping themselves.
Yeah, really racing for position. Ooh.
Old and brave Kevin goes around the outside, but you'll see he has to drop a little bit of the speed here. Otherwise, you're straight into that fence.
But look at the speed he has right now. Biggles heading down into 3, racing the anti-stall livery on that race car here tonight. It's going to go to the inside right now. He's going to follow our race leader, Denario, to that start-finish line. We mentioned that lap car is in the mix right there. That green car, we've got to watch out for him right now as we're almost 3 wide for second spot right now. We're still green flag racing here from Texas.
And no blue flags. None of that luxury you get in Formula 1 here. You have to make your way around those cars that are lapped one way or another. Also, Paulo Lopez is probably getting a bit of nice fuel saving at the moment. You're getting a beautiful tow there from Alex. And Alex Richardson is fighting his way back up at the moment after he was leading this race many, many times and took that pit stop a little bit earlier. So he may very much be gassed up to go to the end of the race. Frankie, the Spaniard, as well. He's at a pit stop on lap 40. So he boxed about 7 laps earlier than Alex is behind him. But look at the exit speed here.
Ooh, look at the big run out of Frankie right here off of 4. He's riding that rocket down into 1 and 2. He's going to carry that speed around the corner to the backstretch right now. He's going to go to the high side right now on the backstretch. The wall.
Oh, no, there's our car. There's a massive crash.
No.
And that, unfortunately, that's Zach Amor in the Pascal Racing team color, the round table racing. And yes, but almost an accident before that. So what's happened to Zachary's lost it here.
Off of
Bang.
2.
Heavy crash too into that fence. And that's caused another crash from behind here because he's on the racing line. Bang. Yeah.
Oof.
Very. Whoa.
Oof.
Oh. I was just about to say before they all crashed into him that most drivers are very lucky not to collide into him, but I spoke too soon.
Man, and Biggles, corner number 2 claims another victim there. Coming off of 2, something about that corner here at Texas Motor Speedway is really tricky. Doesn't matter what kind of race car you race, it gives you fits coming off that corner. We saw it again there. That has been the graveyard of cars there down the backstretch.
That's where I get my tickets right now. They're the hot spot on this track, and I'll say Paulo Lopez has to come in right now, and he definitely is. And you can see Frankie's coming in. I was going to say it has to be an opportunity now for the Portuguese driver to come in because he definitely is the only driver at the moment that hasn't even visited the pit road yet, but he's going to visit it right now and take that opportunity where everybody else is diving in. We'll see if we get a few replays of that. And if you are a little bit cautious, a little bit scared, well, we're going to probably see a replay soon of one of those cars driving into a parked crash car in the middle of the track at 200 plus miles per hour. That's going to be a little bit scary. We're on the ball at the moment of Zach, where he's just lost it all by himself on the track as he's trying to catch the rest of the pack.
Coming off of 2, he's in 5th gear. Coming off, he tries to get back on the gas. See that oversteer already.
Right next to my RV. Right where I parked it.
And then you see...
And then have a look at this. And then this is the scary part right now as everybody's trying to take evasive action. Little clip there. And then, of course, this is where it's scary. Head-on collision like that. And I hope you got some medical insurance because you're going to need some after that. Thank God for esports racing because that in real racing could have been one of those nasty incidents.
and a fellow American there. Zach, my thoughts are with you, man. After that hard impact, you always bring out the best looking liveries here each week here. We saw you at the Indy Road Course last week as well. Had a tough go at the road course as well as here tonight. We'll see what he has in store for us next week from Long Beach. But Biggles, that was the longest green flag run I think we've seen in a long time. And with that really opened the door for a lot of passing, a lot of battles for the lead. I think we were 4 or 5 wide there for the lead there. I couldn't keep track of who was in the lead because it was switching so much there at the top. But we see what can ensue under green there or so far here tonight.
It was fantastic racing. When we are having fantastic racing here for the second race of the season and Indycar, Indy-Store Racing. When we do have it, of course, it's brilliant, but it is switching a route, and it's also allowing, once again, you have to remember Alex Richardson, who took that pit stop back in lap 47. He is now clawed his way back up, so the Brit may be bringing it here. That maybe the Redcoats are back in the United States, or is that too soon to mention? No, it's not. Here's Benny, of course. Yeah, 12 positions gain. Benny's got some fight in him. We know that for a fact, the German. And because he was keeping up to the pace of Kevin Stam, who took that pit stop just before and now has dropped back into P8. And he's got Frankie for company. Alex Van Bos, Alex Van der Bos is... We haven't seen too much of the 72 car, but he's always hanging in there, and he's got Paulo Lopez, our championship leader. Hakan Grebstad in the 94 car is still hanging in there in P11. Crucial points, remember. He needs to defend as much as he possibly can the championship. And Kevin Burrell, who started on pole, the 52 car, he's in P12. Still looking good. Still plenty of laps to go, no doubt. Any of these drivers, everybody at the moment on the grid is still very much capable of winning this race. Go down to P13, I think. That's currently how many drivers we have left in the race, I believe, as everybody else might have been eating some shrimp on the barbies. We got green flag again.
We got green flag racing here once again. As our
there's a crash in the background already.
Caution once again.
Just caught that one. I think that was with those... is that with... That's Kevin Burrell. That's Kevin Burrell. Maybe Kevin Burrell and Bart and maybe Hakan Grebstad have had contact here, so some big Top Guns here have bite the tower, as Maverick would say.
Yeah, that was a crazy caution there on the restart. We saw it a little bit there, though, Biggles. Once on the restart, we saw a little bit of a checking up ensuing there. Drivers have been keeping it clean here so far, but right there we have a wreck on the restart, which makes that caution fly once again here at Texas Motor Speedway. But taking a look at that schedule there, Biggles, break it down for the folks at home to see what the rest of the schedule has here in the IndyCar Series.
Well, we go from the Lone Star State to the great state of California to go over to Long Beach. That'll be a fantastic track. I mean, well, that'll be a street circuit, no doubt. I'd imagine that we're going to have a more caution cars, and of course we'll head over to Belle Isle and then to the great legend track itself of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But over 120 laps rather than 500 of it. I'm not sure how many pace cars we could handle if we were to do 500 of them. Bourbon Motorsports Park and Iowa Speedway, Watkins Glen, the boot itself, of course, the big one. Is at Poncho, the Raceway, and Road America to wrap up the season. But we're still currently only in the second race, so let's not get ahead of ourselves, because November the 21st is when we'll be wrapping up later. We have to get through the dying stages of September month first, mate. Track conditions look quite good for the barbecuing. At the moment, the barbecue's getting quite cold, guys. I'm sure we have enough coal left to keep filling that one up there. Christopher, the 71 car from the United States of America, laying off the Captain Morgan now and bringing his car back into play. Because Benoit, the French driver in the 759 car, still always in the wars, always in the mix, and that's good to see. Everybody out there in the chat, as Stevie said, oof, yep, there's a lot of going out there in the chat, no doubt, with the drivers too in the cockpits. And well, there you go. Will, remember, don't tear off visors for these drivers because they have the screens. But they do have the tear-off screens when they go down to pit road.
They do. They have the tear-off screens when they go down to pit road. And watching that Cup Series last night and the NASCAR Cup Series, you know, the race went from a day race to night race. So the drivers had to actually switch off their dark visors into the light visors. So that was the strategy that came into play at the stock car race last night. But Biggles here, we look at that grid. You see Benny up a bunch of positions there. You see Christopher Suzuki up about 17 spots right up there as well. So a lot of guys are starting to move up that grid here as we're starting to tick these laps down.
That's why you're never going to give up at the moment, because there's 13 cars remaining. And once again, because of those pace cars bunch everybody up, very capable of winning. It's going to come down probably to a little bit of a fuel strategy towards the end. For sure. Most of the drivers have boxed around the 40s or so, 50s recently for Benny. But at the moment, Danilo Piazza, the man leading there in the Old Dogs racing team, well, the last time he visited pit road, my friend, was back in lap 23. So how's he going to handle the remainder of this race without a pit stop, if it's possible?
Yeah, and one thing that stands out to me before we go green here is the fact that Alex Richardson, throughout these battles, throughout the green flag, throughout these stoppages under yellow, has held on to a podium position so far here tonight, Biggles. We've seen other drivers get up there, fade just a little bit off the podium, have to battle it out there. It's drifted back just a little bit, but not Alex Richardson there. Alex has held on to that position here so far here tonight. To watch here on this restart, if he can catch an LEL here as we're about to go green flag racing here once again in the IndyCar Series, race number 2.
We're back to any stall racing, so do not stall those cars, of course, and do not light those tires up too much, as the Italian driver will lead us into lap 78 of 130. Gets a good launch. Keep an eye on the background there. Alex Richardson now is climbing his way back up to where he was in the lead of this race for No Limits Racing team there, the number 22, and putting pressure right now, currently on the Italian.
Ooh. Yeah, as we dig down into 3 and 4, and the caution flag is out once again. Those yellow lights are getting a lot of work here tonight. Getting a jump on Christmas, if you will.
Kevin, it's a pole sitter. So unfortunately,
no.
it's there's a few 50,000 Americans are not going to be very happy about what's happened here, and this is a sole accident, I believe.
Biggles, it is corner number 2 once again.
Well, yes, once again, the hot tickets right there into the fence.
Yep.
He does save it. No, it's a rear wing too, so that's a lot of damage, and that's probably out there for Kevin, unfortunately, the pole sitter. Yep, right there next to where my RV was parked, so I probably did position that quite well, my friend. Unfortunately, I'm up in the casting box with you, so I'm missing all that action trackside.
There might be some souvenirs waiting for you there at your RV at the end of this, some bits and pieces of race cars.
I probably have some carbon fiber bits already. It's like on the roof of my RV at this point. Is that a front wing missing there for Alex? Or just a bad angle?
Look at that.
Yes, it is.
Oh, no.
So that's the reason why he's going to pit road. He's obviously going to follow the Italian driver into pit road as well. So I wonder where Alex picked up that front wing damage. That's on the left side as well. So usually, of course, he wouldn't be tank slapping the wall on the left side. Just collided with somebody.
As we take a look at why that car has damage there at the 22 of Alex Richardson, we were just speaking about how he was holding on to that podium position here so far here tonight. But Biggles, corner number 2, my man. I think I've lost count of how many drivers have lost it coming out of that corner here tonight. Doesn't matter what position you're running, that corner seems to give everybody fits here tonight. We'll have to ask at the end of the race, whoever finishes on the podium, what it is that makes Texas Motor Speedway such a difficult course to get around. Something about getting on that gas there on the exit of the corner is just really tying these drivers up. The majority of the cautions we've seen here tonight, Biggles, have been one-car accidents.
Yeah, recently towards the end, which is obviously it's great for other drivers because you're not having them accidentally scene of the crime. And I think, well, let's give that turn to a break, and let's have a break ourselves in the action, of course, under another caution car under lap 80 of 130 here in Texas.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we're back live here at Anti-Stall Racing. We are live here in the Indycar series from Texas Motor Speedway. Under caution here once again, but we're about to go green flag racing as Benny is going to take us to that green flag here at the start-finish line. Benny Fieg has been a great job of climbing up through the grid. We've seen him working with his teammate, but here we go. We're green flag racing here. Once again, he's going to take us down into corner number 1.
14 positions gained there for the German, slowly creeping his way into lead of this race, creeping his way slowly into more and more of these laps counted under their belt. He also has the Frenchman there behind him, and there's Frankie, of course, there from Spain, España, doing a solid job as well, gaining 8 places, but he has the Flying Dutchman right behind him there of Kevin Stam. We know how much pace Kevin has been. And that's the 61 car. And once again, I believe Barney has to wave that yellow. That's Danilo. That's the Italian driver, I think, that has had a bit of a crash there. That's definitely the 56 car. What's happened here? Oh, that's our championship leader.
Oh, no.
So the Norwegian. But was that a collision? Because I'm seeing maybe as well another accident. There it is. It was. So, yeah, there is the Italian driver that's crashed. And was that a collision between himself there and Haken? Grebstab?
To rewind that just a little bit as we're taking a look at the replay here.
There it is. There it is. Exactly, so, yeah, Haken, unfortunately, has just been a passenger to that one. Oh, no. Championship leaders out. As well as, you know, the Italian driver, and they in this championship standings were right up there as well, so maybe no points are going to be available for them when they come out of Texas.
Yeah, huge shakeup in that points table at the end of tonight's race. See right there, hold on, was just riding in that middle lane, had nowhere to go, and just gets tangled up. And as fast as you're moving in these race cars, you have about a millisecond to think about where you're going to go on the track. He thought he was good there. He saw that car topside, and at the end, just wasn't his night here tonight, Big Ols. And we're under caution here once again on lap 84. Just about 46 laps to go here at the end of this race. I do believe my math is correct there. Might be off. I'm a commentator, not a mathematician there, Big Ols, but great race here so far. While we're under green here at Texas Motor Speedway, what are some of the things that have stood out for you here so far?
Turn 2. You can't deny turn 2. Absolutely.
Right.
Cautions in turn 2. And I believe that Netflix have just called Gerald, I believe, in the producing and saying we have a new Drive to Survive series. This is what it's turning into right now.
Yeah, turn
and obviously down to our producer, of course, in pit road that's been quite busy. Seeing these cars jump in and out there. Gerald, so far, yeah, your feelings about this race?
Yeah, sweating a bit. there's been a lot of buttons to push and lots of Discord messages to reply to and lots of things to keep an eye on.
Anything from the race control? Like, they've been obviously very, very busy here, the stewards, and I feel for them, and obviously a big shout out to them at Untitled Racing, because they do a lot of those work behind the scenes and you don't see it, of course. Well, we see those crashes and collisions and accidents, but they have to study them over and over again, those replays, and just make sure that then when they issue those penalties that they are issued correctly.
Yeah,
but about control, just gonna jump in quickly and tell you guys that the race is probably going to go to time at the current pace.
Okay.
It's 58 minutes remaining as of right now. Potentially we'll get the laps in if we get some more green running, but it is going to be borderline.
And that's George from our race control. Well, thank you very much for that, George. So, yeah, it has been very, very busy, no doubt. As I was mentioning, the stewards, as you've been, but so far, I mean, at the end of the day, recently it's just been one-car collisions. I noticed that you have shortened up the pace car at the moment so that they're not out as long, and now we're going to time and manage this race. So, once again, just to repeat, what will be the finishing time now?
So there's 58 minutes and 10 seconds currently remaining. Hopefully we get the laps in. If we go green, we'll definitely get the laps in. But if we keep getting cautions, we might not. All right, I've got to go back. Good luck.
Yeah, I know you're going to be very busy up there. So don't forget the barbecue later on, mate, if we get there in time.
Might be a bit late.
Yeah, but I'm not quite sure. Green flag racing, anything is possible. But they have a ton of laps to do here under green. And so far, I think we've only had about 10 or so, if we're lucky, Will. But maybe they paid attention to race control and want to get this one finished.
Yeah, I think.
Just cut off there for a second there, Will. I mean, probably because the cars are screaming past the casting box. It's really hard to hear. Well, at the moment, I'm watching the 98 car, Frankie, but look up the road there. That's Benny and the French driver, Benny Flavier, going for it tooth and nail for the lead of this race. At the moment, Benny has have to maybe yield this one. He's going to be happy to get the toe, but he's going to come back at the moment. The fighting spirit of Toto Wolff there. But the German driver in the Arrows livery resumes the lead of this race.
Yeah,
14 positions gained in the background. Keep an eye out for Frankie. Go ahead, Will, if you're back.
Yeah, no, Benny's wasting no time getting back up there where he belongs, up there in the front. We've seen him here. Bigelow's just taking his time working up through the grid, up a bunch of spots from his starting position. Oh, big move out of Benoit right there, down into 3. He's going to try to take that position away right here. He's going to hold it around 4, and he does just that, going down the front stretch.
Two for Noel battling it out. Look at this. Oh, this is going to get spicy at the moment. You could be looking at a 3-way. We did want a little bit of a 3-way party, but we had to wait obviously a few more laps there under good racing conditions to get the temperature into the tyre. That's Frankie and Benny battling it out. Kevin Stam's now into the mix, just in the background there, and the orange livery. And here they are, weaving a little bit too much, guys. Be careful. There is some grip out there, very close to the fence. I think that was Benny.
Ooh, it is wild up here at the top right now. This is a battle for the lead. We've got about 3 cars that are battling up, but here is the battle for the lead on your screen right now. We're side by side down into 3, but here comes Benny into the mix as well. We have 3 cars battling out for the lead of this race right now, Biggles.
Absolutely brilliant. Look at this. If we can actually go aboard back there with the driver on 61 there of Kevin, I'd like to see from his windscreen this battle up the road. As you can see them weaving all around here. And that's a Frankie on the outside. His spotter at the moment will be going clear, 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 outside, outside, driver. You know, that's what they'll be doing. Paulo Lopez is just a little bit further back in P5, also doing this, but you can see that battle for the lead of the race resuming between the 7-5-9 car and the number 4. And maybe Kevin sees an opportunity if there's a mistake here. He has actually got, that's Frankie on the inside apron. We're looking at Benny here.
Big runs already. You see Kevin to the inside of his teammate right there. Going to check up just a little bit to follow back in behind his teammate. But Kevin looks like he has the speed for the top of the grid as we head down to corner number 1 right now. We're 3 wide for just a bit, coming off of 2 to that backstretch. Still a battle ensuing for this race lead. Ooh, that was tight off of 2 there, Biggles.
Bringing everybody else back into play in the background too. You can see this pack. They're all together. They're all grouped up. And you'll have to spread a little bit further back there, I think, because Alex is in here. But, yeah, absolutely tight. Other teammates going to work together here or not. Well, they can take each other out if they're not very much careful. But we're getting some great laps in. We're already up to 94, coming up to 95 of 130. Lots of weaving. It's going to get a little bit scary here.
And you see Benny right there with the bob and weave down the backstretch. Going to try to hold that line on the outside to get around Benoit here at the start-finish line. It's just not going to be enough as we head down into 1. Still battling out for the race lead. Teammates are middle and top side right now, trying to hold that speed around, coming off of 2. He's going to try that move once again here down the backstretch into 3. He's going to try to make a move once again. He's going to pull back just down on the inside lane there. Still can't get around Benoit for that race lead.
Benoit says brilliant driving for the Frenchman, holding off the Dutch and German powerhouse of the Anti-Store Racing Arrows livery team. And he's driving to surviving right now, as we know that Netflix has been calling about this one. Frankie's just lurking in the background there from Kevin. That's right, we're on board with Alec van der Bos as well. He's got in the 72 cars caught this party, and he's gained 13 positions. There's contact.
Oh no!
That's teammate contact that we were kind of talking about, wasn't it?
Oh no!
Kevin,
it was Benny and Kevin.
Benny? Sorry, it was who's? My apologies.
I think it was.
It was the teammates, Benny and Kevin.
They made contact there, but no caution on the racetrack just yet.
No.
Still under green.
Let's have a look. Oh, I knew this weaving was getting a little bit too much, and I kind of just said that before, didn't I? Maybe Castle's Curse saying, don't take your teammates out. Here they are. So they're second and third right here. And you can see that little bit of contact. It's not a lot, and he did keep it out of the fence, so Kevin still can get some crucial points in this because there's only, I believe, 10 drivers remaining as he almost takes that pace car out. We do have a caution. It's being called, but unfortunately because of that, they've deemed that poor Kevin crashing into the caution car is... Oh, no, it's because when he's come back out on track, he's had another spin, I believe.
You take a look.
He's cooked his tires in the barbecue heat on the barbecue that we have, and he's still racing. And
it might be a spicy barbecue between him and Benny there at the end of this thing here, Biggles. We saw that racing ensuing, and one thing I want to point out too, as we break this down and we watch him get sideways here, trying to get that thing going again, is it looked like Kevin may have had the faster car there on that run. He was just trying to get around Benny to try to make a move on Benoit. You saw him kind of bobbing and weaving between the two of them, trying to get around. And once he had that move on Benoit, or Benny, excuse me, just basically just tapped that inside of the car. And we've talked about the sensitivity in these race cars. Any little touch can send you sideways.
And very lucky too when he was coming back down into the apron that he did not take out anybody else. And pit road once again is going to be busy. And I believe Benjamin's coming down at the moment. So I don't know if you want to, if somebody wants to get down there and break up some words, maybe exchange between the two drivers. That's all right, I think, at the moment. Kevin's, in pit road. No doubt about it. They're going to have a big a smile and a couple of beers around the barbecue later on. And just say motor racing is motor racing.
Exactly, because that's what we can hope for right now. No brews or beers flying across the barbecue here tonight. Maybe just keep it cool, keep it collected. We got a nice race next week at Long Beach, so even though tonight might not be your night, can still make up for it next week as we head to California. But tonight, folks, we still have about 29 laps to go because we might fit this race in that time frame.
And the line penalty for number 4 car causing a collision. And, that number 4 car is Benny. So, whoa, that's a double punishment for the team. Oof. So Benny gets the punishment. So Benny and Kevin now are going to be plump last in this race. That's if you can get Kevin back out the damage. Not a good day. They're going to need to go to Long Beach, mate, because we're going to have to take a dip in the ocean after the heat of Texas right now.
Yeah, but you look at who that opens the door for, and that's Alex Richardson again in that 22 machine. Is now up to second once again there, Biggles. We saw him with that front wing damage just a little while ago, racing inside the top 5. And even if he doesn't win the race here tonight, I am still impressed by his driving skill here tonight at the Oval. Like I said, hasn't really bobbed out of the top 5. He's raced podium up there most of the race, but now has a chance to overtake here. And as we count these laps down, if you can get that lead here on the restart, you hold it down for this green flag run. We might catch another caution. This might be your race to win.
Yeah, especially right now with those. So Frankie's done a great job, obviously, the Spaniard. He's gained 10 positions in this one. Alex was kept his nose clean, just took the alternative strategy. For the Brit, yes, definitely can take this one. Paulo Lopez, we can't forget the Portuguese driver. He's gained 3 positions. He's definitely in it, the 88 car. At Silvio now is coming into play. The other French driver, we've obviously had his team, well, his other fellow countrymen, so there's the 11 and 7.59 car out there. Haken Grebstad has just got the smiley face, of course, because the championship leader is out of this race and not picking up any points, but still has those crucial points for the first road course, and you'll be going back to the road course in Long Beach. So if that's what you favor, my friend, that very much will be another opportunity for you to win a race. But at the moment, you're going to have to enjoy the Aussie barbecue in Texas and enjoy the final remaining racing laps of this. About 28, hopefully, will get underway. Who can take it? Who can win it? Well, 9, cars are remaining in this race, and all 9 cars are capable of doing it right now.
Yeah, as we're under caution here once again. Of course, is the Anti-Stall Indycar Racing League here. This is race number 2. We invite you to go check us out on Facebook as well as Twitter and our Discord pages over at Anti-Stall Racing. This isn't the only series that we run here, Biggles. If you want to break the folks at home down, what else we run here at Anti-Stall Racing?
I think we give that one to Gerald, actually, because there's so much motor racing, I even forget half of it. Gerald, real quick there. And go over the other motor racing we have here at Anti-Stall Racing.
Yeah, absolutely. So tomorrow, same time, which is 7 p.m. BST, so that's 7 p.m. in the UK, we have the Touring Car League, and then on Fridays, at again the same time, we have IMSA.
There we go. We invite you to go check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter as well for all that information. I think we could still sign up if we want to, Gerard. Is that correct, or is sign-ups closed for everything?
No, sign-ups are open for anything that still has free seats. So if we get people dropping out, we'll always open up a sign-up. And generally, once we pass halfway through the season, there are also discounted sign-ups as well.
Excellent. And that generally will happen, so no doubt sign up, because obviously we do have our regular lives outside of our motor racing sports to do, and people have school and work and all sorts of things that unfortunately go into your schedule. So yeah, if there's a seat available, most likely there will be. But at the moment, Frankie doesn't have to worry about his seat. He has to worry about whether he can do it for basically 26 more laps there and see Barney's checkered flag and win for the Spaniard.
And you see Frankie right there off of 2. Already has Richardson right behind. Tim's going to try to make it pass on the backstretch already. We're not even 1 lap under. Green's going to try it on the inside of 3 right now. There goes Richardson to the inside, trying to overtake for the top of the grid already on the exit of 4. And he does just that as we cross the start-finish line here on lap 105.
What a brilliant overtake for the British driver. He sees the opportunity. He looked like he got very loose out of there. Very scary moment. Silvio now on Paulo Lopez. That's a battle for P3 that's brewing. P4. Looks like Bart might have dropped a couple of places, but this is the action at the lead here. So once again, it's one thing to be in the lead of the race, but you're breaking that dirty air. Well, you're breaking the air, of course, not the dirty air. You're in the dirty air, but you're in the slipstream. Yeah, a little bit too early. That's for sure. That's cost him a little bit, definitely there. As Frankie's going to seize his way up into P2. And here we go. We don't want to see another repeat of teammates again, guys. We did get the memo before from the Anti-Stall Racing team.
And right now, it's still Richardson leading them off of 4 right onto that front stretch. But a big move right there out of Frankie on the outside. He's going to try to make a move going down into 1. Then keep it cool. Watch out for that car slow on the track on the inside right there as we're coming off of 2. So Richardson leading the way. See, big move out of Frankie there off of 2. He's going to try to overtake on the inside going down into 3 and 4. He's right on the inside, and Frankie does just that coming off of 4 as our race leader.
Yeah, bold and brave right now. You're going to need to. 22 laps or so remaining. And this is now this 4-way party. They're going on the inside apron pretty close. On the outside, there's a French driver.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, in the background, the Portuguese driver, Paulo, is just hanging back there comfortable just to watch this from P4. I think that's probably a great place to be at the moment, because this is getting neck to neck and wheel to wheel in the top 3.
Frankie's still holding on here as we cross the start-finish line here, going down into 1, still holding on to the lead for just a minute. There goes Richardson on the outside of him. Benoit's on the way outside there, trying to make a big move coming off of 2. No moves just yet. There goes Benoit trying to, he's weaving and waving his way around. Richardson just can't get around as we dig down to 3 and 4. Still Frankie leading the way here down the front stretch.
Any of these drivers are capable of winning this. Any driver on the grid right now, all 10 of them still, remember, Kevin Stam might be back there, but this, of course, could turn into a massive, I wouldn't even want to mention the A word, axe. We don't even want that to happen, of course. We want green flag racing. Side by side now for P2 and P3. And I still think the Portuguese driver of Paulo is very clever to sit back and watch this action, because if they could seize an opportunity, if they just get a little battling out too much here. We're going to keep an eye on those pit stops as well, too, because a lot of these drivers...
Oh, no, and there's a wreck off of 2. We have an accident off of 2.
It's green flag, but we're keeping it going because it's only a limited grid. Yeah, that's it. It is Paulo Yes, it is. This is what you caught there. Nothing gets past Will. What happened here?
Coming off of 2 right here. See Paulo, see just on the corner of your screen. Keep an eye out on that right here. You come off of 2, you hit that gas. He's racing side by side, and he's lost it. Right into the inside wall there. No caution. Only car on the track that had that accident. Nothing there. Again, it's corner number 2 that claims another victim, but we're still under green.
Corner number 2, was it? It certainly was. Anyway, well, they're down now to 8, maybe 9. So points are up for grabs here. It's just a matter of just once again driving to survive. I would slap this thing in the first gear and just crawl around the track right now if you wanted to get some points, because you can pretty much guaranteed it. 17 laps to go. 114. And oh, that's a very late time on the inside. Very good, sharp awareness there between Alex and Frankie. Benny once again is crawling his way back in, seeing P4. So even having served that penalty for taking his teammate out, he's still crawling back in here. 11 positions gains. So don't count out the German just yet in P4.
You see right now, most of the guys that are on the track are still racing up here for the lead. Oh my goodness. That was a sketchy move. Didn't want to go high side there. So guys that high side off of 2 right now. It's going to try to use that momentum right now to hold position. Right now, Frankie loves to see that happening behind him. That spotter is yelling out. They're battling. As Frankie's still holding on to the lead, but there goes Benoit to the inside right now on the front stretch. Going to try to overtake going down into 1. They are side by side heading down to the corner.
And the heavens have opened up with a shower that's come down where I am at the moment, because they know how much exciting this is going to be, how sweaty, how exhausted these drivers have been, because they've grueled their way for 116 laps. There's only about 14 and change to go. And even the spam bots out there are trying to get excited about this in the YouTube chat.
You see right now Benoit's on the inside trying to hold that line around the corner, trying to hold it right now onto the backstretch off of 2. There goes Frankie to the outside right now, down into 3. We have a battle for the race win. As we're counting down the laps here, we were curious to see if we could finish this under green. We're still green right now as Benny and Frankie are battling out down into corner number 1. Excuse me, that's Benoit and Frankie up there racing it up for the race lead. But here comes Benny right there in the 3rd position, trying to make his move for the race win as well, because as we head down into corner number 3.
2 drivers to start with B-E-N in their name for their first name. Could it be a Ben 1? Could it be a Ben 2? Or it could be Frankie spoiling this party, the Spaniard, because you know he wants to get these points. He's been battling it out. Alex Richardson just in P4, but Benny, well, here he is. He's got the fighting spirit of Toto Wolff, and he's very much capable of winning this race. But the only problem he has is just 2 cars up the road and 11 laps to go. Let's see if he's going to save the best for last. Or can the Frenchman and the Spaniard hold off and get their first race victory in the oval courses here at Anti-Store Racing? Now this is getting... All right, don't go anywhere. Commercial break would be not perfect right now, but let's take one. Only kidding. Let's go. Race on.
Right now, as you see the speed that... You see the speed that Benny has right there, Biggles. He's trying to hold off, as you just mentioned. He doesn't want to press it too hard, but he might have to right there, as Frankie with a huge checkup coming off of 4. There goes Benny. He's going to try to the outside there. He's going to lose some speed, though, here on the corner.
They're going to be at this is great. They actually pulled away a little bit of a gap there, Silvio. So Elvia might not have enough time of 9 laps to go to catch this, because you got to catch that slipstream. So this is it. I'd have to say, this is a battle. Who wants to win this race there between these top 3 drivers? 758 car, 98 car, and then the number 4.
Yeah, with 8 laps to go, this is the battle that we are going to have on our hands here to count this race down. Oh, that was so close coming off of 2, as Benoit is going to hold on to position number 2 down into corner number 3 there, counting our numbers here, as Benoit is now in the 2nd position, going to try to make a move on Frankie on the French stretch. He goes to the outside, weaves, there's going to hold his line down into corner number 1 here with 3 wide for a brief moment, but there goes Benoit and Frankie. Benoit on the outside, Frankie on the inside, gonna hold it going down into the backstretch. Big block out of Frankie there off of 2.
Oh, they're going for it too for now. Let's go on board with Benny. I want to see Benny's bird's eye view here. He actually allowed the French driver to crawl into this. Benny's got his heart rate is through the roof right now. I would not want to put a heart rate monitor on, because he's going to try to sneak on the inside. There's a bit of contact. And that's at least, I think it's okay. I think Minot is okay, but that's Frankie might have a big smile on his face right now. That has probably given him a little bit of a breather here with 6 laps to go, but not quite so much. On the right-hand side too, of course, is the other French driver. That's to the right as being spotted. No doubt of betting there's collision, and that it may end up no, we're going to go green flag on that one. But Frankie's gone. Frankie is out of this potential race win. With just 5 laps to go, that's going to be gutted for the Spaniard.
And
now 2 French drivers leading this race.
And we'll see what happened to Frankie right up there. Was doing a great job of leading this race. Coming off of corner number 2, gets, or 3, that's 4 actually, coming off of 4. Another corner that's giving the drivers fits here tonight. You saw him try to get back on the gas on exit, and you saw him get sideways there, and that's devastating there, Big O's for Frankie.
Absolutely. Yeah, he might get a black flag, unfortunately, for an unsafe pit lane entry. But further up in the field here, so here it is, the Battle of the Frenchmen. And the only person that can spoil that party might very well be the German driver right there, Benny.
Oof.
With 3 laps to go now. Now, Benny's going to pull a miracle off. He's definitely going to try it around the outside here. He's going to get squeezed into the fence, and there it is. So that's going to be a damage, and that's going to cost him. He now has to hold on, I have to say, to keep that P3. And that's going to allow the other 2 French drivers now to just cruise on by. And, yep, well, we all know that the French helped the United States independence, haven't they? And now they're proving the reason why the French are back here in the United States of America, in Texas.
And you see Benoit has now climbed up to a 2-second lead. We were milliseconds away from one another there, 1, 2, 3. Now Benoit has essentially checked out here with 2 laps to go. This is all about his race to lose here tonight. Looks like Benny's trying to overtake, though, for second spot here on the inside of 3 and 4.
Was that a liftoff? That must have been lifted to let that pass there, because that just looked all too easy, especially after the fights that they've been putting up.
Is she right?
Anyway,
now,
we'll have
Benny's
to go over, obviously, to our race leader. He's going to be crossing the line any minute now and seeing that checkered flag from Barney. Over to you, Will. You can call this one. Finally, we've got 130 laps done.
Right. He's taking the white flag, and it looks like that 759 car Benoit is going to be our race winner here tonight, because through all the cautions, through all the craziness off of 2 and 4, Benoit and that 759 is going to take it home here tonight for the French. Going to have to get some of those croissants to go with that great Texas barbecue, as Benoit wins the race here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway.
Vive la France, exactly. Gets it done there. The 759 car, 6 positions gain. Green means go. Green means Benoit. I tried that one, but apologies. But the other Benny will actually end up getting that P2 place there for the German driver. 13 positions gained, having a drive-through penalty, and even a little bit of a scrub against the wall there in the late stages of this race. And Silvio, the other French driver, will end up with that P3 place position there. And with 10 positions gained. So let's going to do some burnouts right now, guys. Come down to Victory Road. There's a burnout already, of course, there from Benny. Yeah, you're going to go down to the pit, to the Victory Lane, my friends, and then you can do those burnouts in the historical track here in Texas. That's what we like to see, because we got some photos. We need some photos, of course, for the press. And they're going to go down. Here it is. I think it's a little bit further over, isn't it? Well, you're going to have to do it, but well, you can do it wherever you want. You've won this race.
Yeah, when you run a race like he has here tonight, Biggles, he can really burn it down anywhere he wants to. We saw the frantic pace that we had during those green flag runs. We saw the yellow flags basically raining down here with the fifths at 4 and 2 gave these drivers here tonight.
But is he signing his autograph in burnouts?
Yeah, I think so. It looks like he's signing his autograph there at the front stretch. But Benoit, you got to take your hats off to him, the way he has raced this race here tonight, climbing up through the grid. And once he did, he didn't overtake too fast. He didn't get too aggressive up there. He waited his turn, waited his time. And we saw that at the end there, Biggles, the dominoes started to fall. And once they did, he put his 759 machine right at the top of the grid and comes home with a race victory here tonight.
And you get to go over those race results for us too, please, after just mention that. Unless we'll give it to Gerald. Gerald, you got to earn your paycheck as well too.
You
I can try not to sneeze my face off right now, but yeah, sure. So in P1 we've got Benoit Favre, and P2 Benny Fage, P3 Sylvie Lazar, P4 is Alex Richardson, P5 is Alaric van den Bos. P5 is Bart Feuerstein. P7 is Christopher Susky. P8, Paolo Lopez. P9, Frankie Franchita. P10, Kevin Stam. P11, Hakon Grebstad. P12, Danilo Piazza. P13, Kevin Birrell. P14, Kevin Simeon. P15, Zach Amador. P16, Liam Kerr. P17, Robin Duhamel. P18, Doriano Ricciuti. Where's the button to go next? There's the button to go next. P19 is Matteo Limaray. P20, Leon Elwood. P21, Andy Tapman. P22, Aidan Young. And P23, William Ransone.
Thank you very much for that. And under the weather you are, and hopefully you're going to get a little bit better soon. And well, they say to finish first you have to finish. So that's a proven of that case, isn't it? So as a driver, we had only a handful of drivers that end up finishing at the end, even a couple of laps down. How disappointing! I think you called it perfectly, didn't you, Will? The fact that it's just keeping it clean during that race, and that's all you needed to do. Because we just saw, look at those Top Guns that they fought. Frankie potentially had a chance to win the race just towards the end there. Just a little bit of a snap of oversteer or the tires, and then bang, the rear goes out, and all of a sudden, he's dropped to ninth. Paulo as well, too, a little bit further up, had those similar issues, not colliding with anybody, but just having a bit of a spin on your own. Kevin Burrell, of course, that qualified on pole in front of his local crowd here, in front of his country. Unfortunately, it dropped all the way down to P13 with a DNF. So it was a drive to survive for sure, and that goes to show you what ovals definitely produce. That's what we missed out last week with the caution cars, but that was definitely made up for those caution cars this week.
Yeah, we had a few of them here tonight. Those caution flags really rained down here at Texas. Just like the fireworks are going to rain down here as Benoit Favre is going to come home with the race victory here tonight. But Biggles, you just touched on it, though. It was a race of endurance. If you could survive, keep the car clean, you could be the car crossing that finish line first at the end. We saw it with a few guys who were up at the lead. Their races just didn't end the way they wanted it to. But Biggles, I believe you're catching up with some of the guys that were involved in tonight's race. Take it away, Biggles.
Absolutely. We have the gladiators here that have survived the grueling Texas Motor Speedway. So, well, who would like to, you think we could speak to? Well, maybe we can go to Mr. P3 there and Silvio, if I don't absolutely mess up your name. But the other French driver, of course, that finished in P3 this evening, the number 11 car. How was your race?
Well, that was tough. It's not surprising to say that. Actually, I almost lost it at the early race. Then I had a black flag for some restart issues. Restart was really, really tough on this race, and did my best to avoid crashes and stuff. So yeah, just managed to unlock myself, and then strategy was pretty good to raise me, to play the podium. And unfortunately, I have a contact with Benny, so I prefer to let him by after that contact was more fair, in my opinion.
Oh, that's what was happening. I was wondering why there was a bit of a lift, because there's no way you're going to give up that
that easy. Understeering from my
Yeah.
part wasn't on purpose, obviously, and he didn't deserve to finish in the world. So,
well, very admirable of you, my friend. So very much can go get a few more people to go through. So congratulations, of course. Vive la France. P1
Merci.
and P3, yourself there in P3 for the virtual drivers. Your teammate, of course, was the one that finished in first place. We'll talk to him in a minute.
Yeah.
But virtual drivers by TX3 are back in. Everything's bigger and better in Texas, and obviously the French are bigger and better in Texas. So, Will, who would you like to chat to next? Would you go to perhaps the German driver, Benny? I mean, it's up to you.
Yeah, I'll speak with Benny right now. I'm sure he's celebrating as Germany's up 1-0 on England right now in that European Nations qualifier right there, Benny. But I know you'd be a lot happier if you came home with the race victory here tonight. Take us through what made this course so difficult. And oval racing's not everybody's forte, but it looks like you did pretty good here tonight.
Yeah, I'm content with it for sure. I mean, you could see how difficult it was for a lot of people. Just the aero wash is pretty big here. You can have a lot of grip in 1 second, then you get behind another car who maybe just swerved up a bit, and you suddenly lose all front grip and you swerve up yourself. So yeah, it's pretty difficult, but I'm a bit disappointed we couldn't go for more here. But think it's a good result.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
the anti-store racing, the cool down room between you and Kevin, was with the collision that you guys had.
Yeah.
How was that?
It's gonna get a bit.
You guys gonna have a beer at the barbecue, or are you not gonna be talking to each other for a week?
Well, I guess he has to decide on that. Yeah, very sorry. I didn't feel really comfortable with the car the whole time. It either understeered or oversteered a lot, and yeah, I kind of got overloaded in a moment. And yeah, sorry to Kevin about that.
You got a drive-through for that, obviously. So you just managed to put your head down and just get it done, like we've seen that before in the previous seasons that you've raced. You know, that's that German mentality you have, my friend. Never give up, get it done. That's Schumacher spirit per se. That's in you. And yeah, you crawled your way back in, and fantastic racing towards the end, and very much an opportunity of winning it, but just slipped through your fingers when that little bit of a tap, the contact against the wall. But I'll take a P2 in a race where barely anybody finishes any day of the week. So congratulations.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the racecraft there and for the sportsmanship there, P3. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
and
All right,
Benny's
Will, this is your home country, mate. You get to conduct these interviews.
There we go. We'll speak to our race winner now, the last man standing, if you will. Ends up winning this race by 3 seconds. The French get to celebrate here with some Texas barbecue. Maybe throw a little croissant into the mix here tonight with the ribs and the pork. But Benoit, you come home the race winner here tonight. Take us through how you were able to get it done.
Hi guys, so I just want to say that I don't speak English very well, so I will use my teammate Silvio for the translation.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
It's all about barbecue and beers and celebrating, so.
Du coup, si tu veux bien traduire que du coup une course d'attente avec aucun vraiment résultat espéré, juste essayer de récupérer des points. Et puis avec, vas-y.
So it was all about being patient. Nothing was really expected before the race, and just score as much point as possible, because basically overall is not the strongest point in the team. So we did the best in the overall, and the result was quite good.
It looked like the exits of 2 and 4 were giving drivers a lot of trouble here tonight. How were you able to tame those corners, and did you have any problems yourself throughout tonight's race?
Yeah, basically I will answer instead of Benoit, because we discussed that a lot in practice. Was all about going outside them as much as we could. And anytime going inside was really, really good to defend, but when attacking, that caused a lot of understeering. So we just practiced a lot of taking the outside line and being as fast as possible on the outside line.
And one thing I wanted to touch on too is how were you able to stay patient there? You saw a lot of guys battling in front of you there. You were down to about the 3rd or 4th position on the track. You saw those battles ensuing up there. How were you able to keep your calm, keep your cool without overtaking there for the lead? And with that, you were able to come home with the race victory, being so calm, cool, and collected there down at 3rd and 4th.
It's all about being aggressive in the last stint. Being aggressive at the beginning of the race is useless in oval, because you have still 2 pit stops to make, several safety cars also. So it's completely useless to defend your position at the beginning of the race. So this is where you want to avoid doing that and save fuel, save tires. Yeah, that's exactly what we did.
Awesome. Well, we go to another road course next week. What can you take from the oval here tonight? What kind of confidence, momentum can you carry into next week's race?
First of all, we really love the next week race in Long Beach. Really appreciate these tracks, but we're also aware that anything can happen at any corner, and maybe the first corner or the first lap will be over, but still we're really enthusiastic to race there. And
Well,
we'll try to keep this momentum from this evening to bring it to next week.
Yeah, well, you get that awesome Texas barbecue here tonight. You also get the cowboy hat to rock down there in Victory Lane. While you're in Victory Lane, is there anybody that you wanted to shout out, any sponsors that made this race happen for you too here tonight?
Well, obviously the sponsor of the team, Trustmasters, but also just the team in general, because we spend a lot of time together and practicing, improving, sharing knowledge, setups. So yeah, any member of the team is really important to this result.
Congratulations, Benno Flavor. You've autographed your name in burnouts in Texas, of course. So once again, the French are back in the United States of America, help the independence of the United States, and certainly help win races in the Texas Speedway. So congratulations. I'll let you go down and pop some champagne.
Thank you, guys.
Before we head over to Long Beach next that you mentioned. So obviously some of these drivers are looking forward to that track. We're looking forward to the action. And of course, we have to thank those many sponsors that we have. My friend, as you're aware, of course, Major's Garage, the setup shop. We have Brucey, the race wear and gear and gloves that you had mentioned that definitely would be sweaty from a lot of these drivers this evening. And Digital Motorsports for the sim racing gear. Of course, if you did like this race, please hit the thumbs up. Give us the support. Give us a thumbs up for every caution car that we had during the race, and we'll be super happy with that one. So that's it from myself, Mr. Dean Biggles. Will, of course, you could wrap it up there if you'd like.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate everybody for tuning in here tonight from the great state of Texas Motor Speedway. We saw our winner here tonight, Benoit Fervar, come home with a race win here tonight. It was a race of endurance here in the Anti-Stall Racing Indycar Series race number 2. We'll see everybody in California next week as we head to Long Beach. We hit the road courses once again. We probably won't see as many cautions there next week, but for all of us here at Anti-Stall Racing, we wish everybody a great night, a great rest of your week, and we'll see you right here once again next Monday night for more of the IndyCar Racing Series.
Oh, darling, if I had bought you flowers, would you still be here by my side? Yeah, I thought this moment could be ours. While I'm walking only through the night, you can break my bones, break all the promises, but leave me alone. Don't break my heart. You should fucking stay with him.